Are we live?
Yeah.
Okay. Hey, everyone. Yeah. Thanks for joining us tonight on this crazy little horror-themed evening. So as I will make this a few times if I see some people jump in chat, we're definitely mature rated tonight. And we might have some spooky triggery things that happen. So if there's some demonic things or some fear things, just a little warning along those lines. My name is Rich. I'm joined here by a bunch of great people, which everybody will get a chance in a second to say hi. But tonight we're doing something different. Everyone knows me as the D&D guy. And when I saw this poking around on our Discord, they feed, oh God, they feed on fear. I almost messed up the name. I took a little preview look and went, holy smokes, I want to run this. I want to see where this goes. And luckily got a hold of the documentation and actually had a chance to talk with Alexi even about the game itself. And as I posted in Green Room, are there any horror people that want to be horror-ish? And heck yeah. Okay. Yeah. Everybody signed up to play a horror game. And they all, we'll see where it goes and how horrific this is. I think the only thing you'll ever hear about our channel is no physical abuse or killing of children. Other than that, pretty much, we got our own little veils and lines. I'll watch Discord here for y'all in case anything gets a little crazy. But yeah, we're looking forward to it. Jumping out of my comfort zone. And I have a feeling maybe a few of the other people are jumping out of their comfort zones.
Let's see. Where's Gavin? Where is Gavin?
I'm right here.
Gavin, talk about yourself. What do you got going on?
I don't have a ton going on. I am also going to be one of the players in the charity game, which I'm super looking forward to. Happy to be here too. So, yeah, I'm just looking forward to the future of HSC.
Marlo, tell us a bit about what's going on in your life.
Too much, in fact. But that's my personal life, and I'll save that for my therapist.
Seriously, we could just turn this into a session. We could all just down a bunch of edibles and talk through these problems.
I'm quite sure you all want to hear about my love life. I'm quite sure. But hey, so I'm Marlo. You can find me on Twitter at Marlo Bogwitch if you're looking to follow me on up-to-date things that are happening. I don't know how much longer Twitter is going to be around. I don't know. So I've got other things. Anyway, I am not doing too much these days. I'm trying to study for an exam, so it's kind of put me kind of further back in doing things for tabletop games, but I am going to be a part of that charity event Blair mentioned. And I have, I think, another thing coming up in December, but I haven't heard anything about it, so I got to follow up and find out about that one. But yeah, I you can find me always over at Misconceptions Podcast Network. I'm on 2 shows over there. Sins of the Father is on an indefinite hiatus right now. We find an editor. I was editing it, but life happened. But it's about kids looking for their missing fathers. It's D&D 5e, so they've got augmented stats. They've got lower stats. Every fight feels dire and scary, and they're kids and they're being traumatized. But it's fun.
Wow.
It's good. It's dark sometimes. And then the other one is Tales to Inspire, which is an alternate history show where we are punching Nazis. So if that's something you're interested in, we're set in the 1940s. In this first season that's currently coming out, I'm playing an old Hollywood starlet with the powers of telekinesis and telepathy. Yeah, it's wild. It's bananas. And we've already recorded it all, and we've already really screwed up history. So that's all I can say about it. Yeah, like history is totally different, and it's only one decade out of the show that's supposed to go to present day. So check it out. It's a lot of fun. It's really good. And so that's really what I got going on right now. Usually I can talk for like 30 minutes on all the things that are happening. But yeah.
It's the end of the year. Take a break.
It's the end of the year.
Let yourself breathe, enjoy Thanksgiving, get through December, and then get back on that train. I really want to check that one out about the alternative history. That sounds incredibly interesting.
It's really great. It's running Worlds in Peril, but we've augmented it. And then I think by the second season, they're going to have a totally new rule system set that's sort of half Worlds in Peril, half something else. But they took some Avatar Legends stuff to kind of make it seem a little bit more cohesive. And then there's like breakouts, like there's like 2 or 3 episodes where it'd be breakout with a couple characters doing something. So you've got like your standard issues and it reads like a comic book. So we like set it up with like, as it moves through panels and you flip pages, as you flip the page is what you see, it's pretty cool.
So cool.
Well, come to the Discords and be sure to drop in promoting as something goes live or as something new happens.
Yeah.
and let us all know, because that sounds like good stuff. I love the Sins of the Father one. That sounds very interesting. Just that concept. Very cool concepts on those. Kind of like tonight. So I think you're just a cool concept kind of person.
I love a concept.
Yeah. And because when we were doing session 0, you kind of talked about how this was on your radar. You had, talked about different RPGs that do things like this. And you were like, oh, this one seems to fit the bill. So I'm really glad this worked out. You get to play.
I love horror. I could play, if every game I could play would be horror, I would be a happy camper.
Oh, I tell you that. And that does appeal. I know that when we were in our session 0 and we were kind of going over rules and things like that, we brought up so many movie references. It was like, like this. Yeah, like this. Yeah. And I don't know if Gavin's in the exact same boat, but I'm a horror fan. I watch movies all the time just to, Blair Witch, by the way, Blair Witch did not age as well as I thought it would.
Did you say my name? That's me.
I went back and saw it, and I was like, not as scary as it was the first time I saw it. But it's still a lot of good creepiness in it. Just, just didn't age as good. Kind of like The Crow. Anyways, back to today's real topic, which is they feed on fear. We have done some rules discussions, but I'm just warning everybody. We're probably going to be kind of walking through some things the first, time, second time, third time we do something. So be prepared for us to totally destroy this. But I think we're going to do a great job. Starting off, just to talk a little bit about our setting. The Feed on Fear, one of the beautiful things I liked is there's really no community. You almost start with just a blank map. And you start to say, I want to go here. And you draw it on the map. And you put this on the map. And you put that. Heck, you don't even need a physical map. You can use an Excel sheet and just have things. In our case, we're 1974, 76, somewhere in that time frame, in Galion, Ohio. Nice little small town. Couple businesses. There's a couple businesses that keep it afloat with the people in the community. But it's definitely one of those, 3 stoplights, you're out of town kind of a scenario. Just go north and south. And everybody here in the group does have the availability to go see that map. Literally, I threw it in there just to give us some ideas, just to give us location ideas. You're able to look at that and say, yeah, you know what? I'm going to the funeral home. Let me go over there. So it kind of gives us some spots to jump off of since it's our first time to play. But we'll see where things happen. But, fear eaters are you. I'm the provider. And that means I get to kind of put my hood up and I get to tell everybody I'm the provider. And as the provider, I provide to you the environment that you are going to be sucking the essence out of and trying to destroy or move to your end game, whatever your end game is. Maybe you need to destroy the town. Maybe you need to become part of the community. Maybe you need to become corporal. I don't know. But you make up your end goal and we work towards that. We're doing a one-shot, so we're really not going to get the doom clock done today. But we're at least going to get to play around with the mechanics of what's happening. But the big stars of the show are you three, the fear eaters. So I'm going to say, Gavin, why don't you tell us a little bit about your fear eater? A little lore, maybe a little common name, not your exact name, your common name.
Yeah, sure. Happy to. So my character is named the Sludge Man. And what he is basically a person who had kind of a bunker in his backyard, kind of very skeptical of people, always very cautious. And then after his family has a newborn, he decides to run away as they're too much of a liability. And as he was kind of living on his own, he kind of got trapped in the sewers and kind of started just living in that area, realized how safe it was, and just kind of really morphing more and more into this kind of landscape, feeding off rats and things like that. And has basically become hyper paranoid and fixated on kind of being the one to survive no matter what. So feeds off kind of survival instincts, fear, and all those other kinds of things to kind of keep moving until eventually maybe, ridding the world of any threat to him.
Kind of clearing things up. Lair-wise, where is Sludge? Chilling.
Sludge is probably near that reservoir on the map. kind of a little south of the city center, if I am correct. Let me just double check.
Sure.
Yeah. So a little south of the city center, kind of close to that reservoir, probably where any sort of kind of drain systems and not leak into, but are near. So not quite on the reservoir, but near there. So, there's a kind of powerful water system nearby.
Perfect. Blair, tell us about your character.
Okay, so my character,
Fear Eater.
My Fear Eater, yes. My Fear Eater's name is the Lingering Scholar. She grew up in this town, but during a time when for women to try to pursue like academics was very like frowned upon. That didn't stop her. She tried to like learn all she could until a jealous colleague ended up murdering her. So
murder.
Yes. So she is a very vengeful kind of entity. I don't see one on the map, but if we can create kind of close
we can.
To maybe close to like the high school, kind of like on the outskirts of town.
Sure.
Her grandmother, like while she was alive, owned a bookstore kind of on the outskirts, and the bookstore had a secret kind of underground library. So that's her lair. Still, she kind of hangs out under that bookstore. But kind of her vibe. She wants to feed on that kind of like intelligence. She still kind of has, even in like Fear Eater stage, she's still trying to like go after that like knowledge by siphoning it out of other people. And kind of the revenge part, she kind of wants to go for some domination. She wants to see if she can make maybe a little army if we can get that. Just kind of have that control. So,
yeah. Well, let's say that this bookstore was called High Shelf Bookstore.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah, High Shelf HSB.
Oh, should we tell what we look like too?
Yes, you should.
Okay, so I'm gonna say the school that she went to was like a prep school, so she has like a uniform. So there is like, she's still in that kind of uniform, has probably like long, gross matted hair, and then a part of her head is like exposed, like brain exposed, with like a shard of glass in it. She has like long, like spiny fingernails, and she kind of floats. And
is that how you were murdered?
Yeah.
Yeah. There was an attack to the side of the cranium.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's gross. That's gross. Marlo, tell us a little bit description. And by the way, Gavin, I'll ask for a description in a minute.
So commonly known as a sort of figure of urban legend. The Flesh Wraith is the name that she kind of goes by these days, but the rumors are that she was taken from her family due to being basically told she was hysterical, and she was taken this is in the late 1800s or so, where they took her and they were like, "You're hysterical. Let's do something about that." And then they did perform some procedures on her, and she died because of those procedures. So we're talking like late 1800s, like pre-anesthesia sort of. She wasn't really anesthetized, and she died confused and alone. So she's going around looking for her missing parts, and whatever they removed to experiment on this poor woman who they thought was just someone accused of being hysterical, and they took her away. So because of that, she sort of uses, she's sort of a mixture between sort of a Bloody Mary, La Llorona sort of like character, but she uses the mirror world as her sort of realm.
Sweet.
So she can move in and out through mirrors and reflections and things like that. She basically, when you first call upon her, she looks like a normal, so-called normal woman, just ghastly looking almost as she comes through and crawls through into your space. She would look more like a sack of meat with a face that is reaching and grasping for and trying to grab organs and parts and things for people.
That's gross.
It's disgusting. It's a roiling bag of organs.
What was her name again? I missed it.
The Flesh Wraith.
A Flesh Wraith. Nice. Awesome.
Gavin, what do you look like, by the way? I have a feeling we know, being in this water kind of environment, I have a feeling it's boggy, whatever it might be.
It's boggy for sure. So he's wearing those kind of like fishing overalls with those kind of thick leaded boots. But they've been worn for so long, and he's been submerged in so water that it's coming apart. You see that parts of his face and stomach are distended from being bloated and staying in water so long. The flesh on his arms are beginning to slough off because it's just been so much moisture for such a long time. His eyes are kind of popping out and bulging, and there's kind of sludge kind of coming from all of his orifices. And he kind of travels through the water. In any sort of kind of water system.
Understood. Again, gross. But along those lines, those are the way you've described things to me today. As you go out in the community, you could be doing things and trying at a certain point, maybe even try and do some appearance or scare. And you do have some control over your outer looks. But unless you tell me you've changed something, that's the way it's being presented to the prey of this community. If for some reason they do see you, that's how they will see you. Everybody gets an extra manipulation. So everybody add a manipulation to your manipulation pool. So for those at home, when you go to play this game, you're going to roll a D12. You either want to get over a target number or you want to get below a target number. And the manipulation allows you to add a 1 or take a 1 away from your roll to help you get that success. But, this is a pretty good crew. Everybody had a good description, so maybe a little +1 in your bank isn't a bad thing. Second, the Doom Clock. There's no way in this game of a one-shot we're going to get through the Doom Clock. So we're already pushing it into segment 0. So we're going to start the game at segment 0, which means you guys can manipulate your attribute track. You can move it up 1 or down 1 in one of the 4 categories. And for those at home, as they go to play and they go to try and hit a target number, they're either going to use their mind or they're going to use matter or they're going to use something physical. I mean, we talked in the example of, hey, I needed that door to shut. Mom's coming in the room. I need the door to shut. You need to physically manipulate that environment. So you'll get a target number and you'll have to be above or below it. And you know what? Well, I guess physical would be above. Is that correct? Did I get that right, everyone? If it's physical, over. Yes, I did get it right. Yes. Reading the rules for a week helps. Yeah, we're going to be doing that a lot, everyone, checking back and forth. So you would want to use the +1 manipulation instead of doing a -1 manipulation. I think that's about all the rules I want to talk about before getting started. I say otherwise, everyone, their mission is to leave their lairs, find prey, drain those prey of essence, and move the Doom Clock forward to allow them to get to their end game. So with that said, everybody roll a D12. Let's see what initiative looks like. High number will get to go first. Lowest number gets to go last. Any ties is a dice off.
I got a 2.
You're last.
I got a 7.
Oh, maybe you're first.
Yeah, I got a 7 too.
Oh, dice off. Dice off.
4.
3.
Oh, no. Okay.
Did you get the same number again?
No, I got a 3.
And you got what, Blair?
I got a 4.
Okay, so Blair, you're first. And by the way, since this is kind of our first really playthrough on this, I would recommend going down to page 34 and have that actions list in front of you so you can kind of plan this out. And for everyone at home, we're going to break this into 2 parts for every character. The first round of initiative, everyone's going to tell me they're leaving their lair, what they're doing, kind of giving me the gist of what's happening. And then when we go back around, part 2 is going to be them actually the application of what they're looking for. So Blair, I tried to ramble a little to give you time to look at your action list.
Yes.
What would you like to accomplish from the old high shelf bookstore?
Okay. So, and it might be wrong to do it in this way, and I can change it if I need to.
100%.
So kind of the object of power I have for her is a series of books. It's 14 books, except the 13th book is missing. And so I feel like she really uses that to kind of, because like she wants to feed off that like intellect, right? So I feel like she uses the book to kind of like somebody takes it and and she can that's kind of how she can like follow the book and stuff like that. So maybe this it's probably a thing where it gets like
I love where you're going.
It probably gets returned all the time because like like I don't know, if she's successful then it'll like come back. But maybe if she could exit. Oh, do we have to say how much essence we want to take with us?
Yes, you do. Okay. So you definitely want to take a look at that action list and say, and walk through it. Walk through it real live with us. Walk through what you look at the action list, kind of calculate what you think you need.
Okay. So I think she wants to like leave the lair and just kind of like roam that bookstore, like really see if she can find someone like who's somebody that's not that just there to like that, not that anything's wrong with YA novels, but somebody that's really wanting to like grab something to like study.
Okay. I like where you're going with that. So you're going to basically, just recapping, we won't do this every time. You're going to exit your lair. That's zero essence cost. Next, you're going to roam. Now, roaming is going to cost you 1 essence. So you definitely need 1 in your bucket, right? Mm-hmm. And, you're going to find a prey. And at which point you could decide that, maybe I want to stalk that, or maybe I want to detect fear of this prey. Maybe I want to start building a little recognizance on that person. So you could say, oh yeah, there's 1 there. There's 2 there. Now that I need to detect fear. Oh, and it takes me 1 to drain essence. So I'm already at 3. And I think in some of the great examples, they were leaving it around 6 or 7. By the way, you don't want to die while you're outside your lair, but you're going to bring it back if you don't use it.
Okay. Then I'll take 6.
Okay.
Just some extra change just in case.
So the scholar kind of grabs herself together and moves out from below the bookstore up into the bookstore. I'm going to say kind of flying high. You're a drone, kind of checking out what's going on in the entire bookstore. How do you move about? How do you make that happen?
Definitely kind of, I picture her kind of going more kind of like, if she's not in like the form that I said earlier, probably more like wind. So kind of airy and that kind of like high scoping, just kind of like hovering. And then if she kind of like pinpoints something, we'll maybe go down lower.
So kind of like that thing that you create an air of that beautiful old book smell too.
Ooh, yeah.
It's almost like there's a little romance. And as you're moving around, people go, God, I love old books.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely.
You're kind of playing to them a little bit. Great. Marlo, I think you're next up. As you've been hearing us chitter chatter, what's kind of how much essence you taking and what's your game plan, or what's your game plan and how much essence are you taking?
I think I'm going to take 7 essence with me. The first thing I'm going to do is exit the lair. So I see that action kind of, as she's, because given the like sort of all-encompassingness of a like mirror realm, her exit's probably going to be wherever she wants to kind of roam and find things. So I'm thinking what my next step after sort of roaming would be to find a place that would be maybe do some siphoning.
Give me a building that would have mirrors in it that you would want to enter.
Maybe a little hole in the wall bar.
Okay.
Where maybe there's only ever a couple of people, regulars, that come in. And I think her first step to exit would be, you know how what I'm seeing is sometimes there's a mirror behind the liquor, behind the bar.
Yeah.
It's like as though there's a camera looking at this and watching the heads behind the people and the bartender like cleaning stuff or whatever. You see in the corner, in the shadow, reflected in the mirror only, is a very dark figure. Just kind of watching, kind of pacing. And suddenly she appears outside of it, but in that corner, right? That's how she exits, because she's not like she's crawling out like a Ring sort of situation. It's she's in this mirror world and she wills herself to be where she can see.
Kind of flipping between the two. As you bring up that imagery of the large mirror behind the bar, everybody at the Thrifty Nickel, they're sitting there having drinks, and the bartender, just pouring Miller Lite all night long. Up on the bar is Miller High Life, and it has that pinup lady on the moon. Mm-hmm. I don't know if you guys have. It's 74, right? The High Life.
I've drank a few High Lifes in my time.
It's not Miller Lite. It's Miller, right? It's High Life.
High Life.
And there's that moon silhouette with the girl. And there's Miller High Life. It's this must have been a $300 mirror back then. It's sure enough, people are having their drinks and talking, but kind of in between the Miller High Life, painted on, gilded writing on the mirror is your blackness. And your soul starts to, I shouldn't say your soul, your blackness, your spirit starts to, kind of come together and coalesce. And that's where we are. So hold on to that. Now let's see. That means you've added this much stress into this environment. At which point, Gavin, you've definitely heard us talk through this exercise too many times. What are you thinking about doing?
So I'm going to take 9 essence with me. And I am. What time of year is it?
It's before Halloween. I'm so glad you asked. We've got, as you walk around the bookstore, as you go into the Thrifty Nickel, you see pumpkins, and you see doilies, and you see jars of candy corn and Tootsie Rolls out for people to have. As a fear eater, you're not necessarily concerned with dates per se, but you can smell the anxiety growing within the community as it comes close to a festive holiday that is based upon the idea of demons and spirits and angels and mass and death and life.
Perfect. So I see just a little bit of greenery on this map of ours, just by the reservoir. It's called South Park. And this South Park, I'm sure, is a very hot spot for people who, are, thinking they're cool, maybe trying to push themselves on scariness. I'm sure it's 1974. I'm sure the public lights aren't great at that time.
Yeah.
So
lights, what's lights? You just had to get home before dark.
Just the cigarettes in everyone's hand is lighting away. I think I'm going to kind of use the water system to kind of go up and out of it. So I'm going to roam and kind of look for some prey there. And I'm going to use the water system, and maybe if there's a public fountain or maybe a water fountain or public restroom, I don't know, some sort of water source, I would come out of, and you'd kind of see this like blood red, brown sludge kind of coming out of that water system. And it kind of slowly morphs into the Sludge Man.
So everything you need will always be there. That's the great thing about this. You're drawing that story. So as you start to think about your day's adventure, you find yourself transmuting and just kind of sliding along with the water. And as it follows its way out of your lair, and you go through a grate, and you drop down out of a pipe into the stream. And then as gravity just kind of wheels you down, you're constantly reaching out and thinking about, what do I see? Who is there along those lines? And one thing, the other two, I definitely got the idea that they're looking for someone, a person. Now, people can be, targets, but also animals can be targets. So, Gavin, if there was a animal per se, is that something of where you're moving towards, or is it, no, I'm definitely looking for a human person?
I would say an animal if it was big enough, or if a human was there, perfectly happy with that. But like squirrels and maybe things like that, I'm done with eating rats. Let's try and move up the animal kingdom ladder.
Gotcha. You find yourself, you definitely are, cha-ching, your fear radar is going off. And you've found a pipe that just had a little crack in it. Over time, roots break into cracks and open up pipes, and they still continue to operate, but they've now become open to invasion. And you find yourself in a pipe that's, an inch and a quarter leading down into that area. Back over to the librarian, to the scholar. As you are finding yourself, floating above the bookstore, you definitely see a man, 6 foot tall, middle-aged, maybe not much graying, but the idea that some gray will be there soon, at the volumes, directly where, you kind of smell him out down below. He's taking a peek through things. He's got his polyester brown pants on and some white shoes and a white belt. And, he's got a floral print shirt and a little pocket protector with some pens in it, and also a couple devices in that environment. Maybe you see some prey there. What would you like to do?
Can I ask what section is he standing in front of currently?
Directly outside the major volumes area, the 13th book is missing from. So when we talk about that and I believe those are historical volumes.
The ones like her object of. Yeah. So they're like older books. And
yeah. Are they in the historical reference, or are they in collectibles?
Maybe. So kind of like what I want to do, and again, you can totally veto this, kind of how she would lure someone to take a book is manipulate kind of the title on the binding. So it can be any book.
Oh, perfect. He's in that section, and it's really, he's in a category based upon the idea of collectible books. So these are all books of different genres, but they're the first editions. They're the low limit prints. They're the signed autographed version, things along those lines.
Okay. With the where'd it go? No, page 34. I was looking at something else. I think I'm going to spend an essence, and I want to detect fear.
Okay. At which point, let me mark that down. Boop, boop, boop. You are going to detect fear, and I am loading. I saw that on a TikTok. Whenever the DM's busy, he needs to have a little loading screen that he can throw up.
Totally fair.
Because I just went the wrong way. Okay, I'm back where I need to be. At this point, you are going to try and detect fear on this person. We didn't apply the section 0, the segment 0 bonus of letting you move on the attribute wheel, +1, -1, +1, -1. So you can go towards mind or matter or ethereal, or you see what I mean? Mm-hmm. So think about how you're going to try and take a look at that fear In this case, you're going to want to roll against his target number. And let's see if I don't screw this up. I need to check this person. Okay. I need to move up here. I now know what they have. Give me just a second. You would think I'd have all this worked out.
So I need to go ahead and pick what my, where my one manipulation would go.
No. Your manipulation you hold on to you want. The
Okay.
segment 0 clock moving gave all of you the ability to move up 1 on one of the tracks.
Okay, so I should pick which one I want.
Probably feel the most confident you're going to utilize the most.
Okay. I think I'm going to go up 1 in mind. So. That's what I was thinking.
All right, hold on just a second. Let me take a look. Let's detect fear. So you're going to roll against a TN7. But what I want to make sure I do right is whether or not, let me check this. I want to make sure I do this right.
I'm also looking at it.
I know. I want to get this right. I'm sorry, y'all.
No, you're totally fine.
I should have been a little, I tried. I've read so much. I am trying to make sure I look at this in the right light. At one point, I'm just about to pick away. All right, let's do a detect fear. You want to roll above a TN7. Okay. So how do you want to... Shoot. I think I'm doing this wrong. Hold on, guys. Give me just a second. I do not want to mess this up. Hey, John.
In chat said roll over TN plus 1 mod.
Okay, excellent. I'm glad someone said that because thank you. So roll that. Let's see if you can get over. Because I was trying to see if you could do a physical or mind on the detect fear, but it looks like you just always have to roll over. What I have is my prey. I have a prey right here. Luckily, in the rule book, there's lots of great preys lined out for me. So I've picked a 1, and you kind of want to get over a 7.
Okay.
And you could apply your manipulate to give you a +1 if you would like at this time.
Okay. Do I have to say it before I roll?
Heck yeah.
Okay.
7. That may not be in the rules, but that's the way I always love to roll.
I mean, that makes sense. That makes sense.
The provider says so.
7 is pretty high. So I'm going to add my +1 manipulation to see. Yeah. Oh, I didn't even need it. I got an 8. So +1, 9.
Look at that. Yeah, okay. So they're definitely applying the manipulates before they roll based upon some of the descriptions. Okay. So did you use your manipulate or not? You tell me.
No, I totally didn't.
You did not use your manipulate yet. Okay, good. I'm glad you held on to that. At which point, I need to go back here because
big wink.
Yeah, that was a big wink, wasn't it? I think everyone's going to get a free roll here to start with, just to kind of get things moving in that direction. I've lost where I'm going. God, I hate that. I hate when I do that. Sorry, guys. Here we go. One.
Do you want us to riff while you're...
No. Okay. This is going to be you as you delve into the mind below you. You definitely find that Steve Cowley is this person's name. You find that they work with students, maybe at the local high school that's very close to the bookstore. And as you're going into the reaches and saying, what are the things, some of this is you're touching in and, hitting those ganglia. I don't know what those little neurons are in the head. And you're kind of poking in. You find Mr. Crowley is always nervous about acid. The idea that something could burn him. So he's always thinking in his mind, okay, I need to be sure to wear these proper gloves when I work on this experiment. Oh, I wear. You've noticed in your recollections that not only does he just have glasses, he has special safety glasses that have corrective lenses built into them, to where he's constantly worried about his eyes, his mouth, his fingers, things being taken away by an accidental spill of chemicals.
Okay. Do I get to know if that's like what type of fear that is for him? Like the major fear, or do I
the
get
specific
to know?
or the universal? I'm saying no, you don't. I rolled the D12 for it, and that's the one. Great question. You read the rule book.
I was reading it, rereading it right before, so I'm trying to remember all the stuff. But okay, so worried about acid. Okay, so I'm gonna guess. I kind of like, she's like tapping into that, looking at him where he's at. I think she's gonna kind of make an assumption that he does something with like science, and I think. Let me see if I had to do another action. I want. And I don't know how to do this in the actions part. I want him to take a book.
Okay, well, there's a great category called other actions.
Oh, that's true. That's true.
And so we're going to go to the great category called other actions. And I'm going to riff with you for just a second.
Okay.
The idea is you need to present this book that's in front of him that you want him to take, so you can have an anchor to this person based upon your object of power being in their possession, which, by the way, if they destroy, you die. You want him to grab a hold of that. So there are some ways that you could try and manipulate that. And I'm just going to riff that physical. I make sure this book drops off the shelf into his hand. If we were to talk about, let me kind of peek up here, mind, maybe the outside of the book edges, scream to him, safety in the classroom, how not to find yourself at the end of an acid burn. You see where I'm going with that? Yeah, I've just kind of made up two examples based upon mind and physical, which is an over number. But on matter, ethereal, maybe you can spin that some way that you want to spin it.
Okay. So I think I want to go off mind and kind of like the like seeing that he's close, kind of like a swipe transition. All the books kind of like how to say, it kind of is like a gold writing. And so it's kind of like, just kind of like a swiping, and then they all like these titles just appear on the edges. And I like that, the idea of like the best safety, the best science safety, or something like that. Let me think of a good title. The safest class science. Oh wait, no, it's like the old ye old science safety for dummies, just like on the back of like all of them. So it's
literally just started the dummies books in 1974.
Yeah, I did.
With this book. You definitely just started that before anybody even had an idea of what was going to be happening. I think that's a great idea. So to me, that is a mind related task that you're kind of providing to this person. So let's just kind of keep this on the down low and go with a 6. That you have to roll over a 6 for this phenomenon to happen.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Got a 4. So.
Okay. Well, you know, Steve Crowley is sitting there looking at the wall of books, and all the edges seem. He blinks. All the edges seem to change, and he takes his glasses off. He's a man of science, right? Mm-hmm. So he's definitely not a simpleton. He was hypothesis, and let me test my hypothesis. Mm-hmm. So as that happens, he puts his glasses back on, and all the titles are kind of the normal ones that they should be. Mm-hmm. And at that point, coming around the corner is a younger person. You see a younger person, probably, I don't know, teenager, something along those lines. And they immediately start to converse with Steve. And Mr. Crowley, they call him Mr. Crowley. And, they're talking about some assignment and some books. And you see them take off and go back around the corner.
Okay.
So you missed your opportunity.
Gotcha.
And that causes some issues along those lines. Okay. Flesh Wraith. Everybody's sitting at the bar. They're looking at the mirror itself. But in that classic, I'm getting drunk and not really looking at the mirror. So you've passed unnoticed to the occupants of the room. As you look out, you definitely see that there's about 3 people holding the bar down to make sure it doesn't go anywhere. A bartender and a bar back that are in this area. So you definitely have taken in the scene itself that's in front of you. What would you like to do?
Observing the people here just very quickly, just to make sure there are individuals here, at this location. She looks around. What she's going to do is head for the men's bathroom. So this action specifically, I think, is the evade. I think that was the one it was. Am I using the right terminology?
All of us are going zip, zip, zip. I can hear
it. Evade and hide.
The evade and hide.
Yeah.
So she's going to evade and hide. That's by my intention here. So she can sort of get maybe 1, because this many is a risk.
Yeah.
To attack. So she's gonna evade. Use 1 more point of essence. That's the right terminology. Yes. Mm-hmm. Yes. To try to slide into the men's bathroom.
You thought your lair was disgusting and gross and a lovable place, but this men's room finds its way into that same category. Very lonely, sad, desolate, desperate place. A simple, sink with only cold water working, a broken mirror up on the wall that's obviously just glued onto the wall itself, not even in a frame or properly hung. A toilet missing its top ring. Just something that's there for people to use. If you could smell from that side, you kind of could imagine what that would smell like on that side of the mirror itself. As you're settling into the environment that you're seeing in front of you, the door swings wide open. A very boisterous man walks into this space. And he says something back to everybody at the bar. Just loud, obnoxious, what an a-hole, kind of environment. He finds himself, he locks the door behind him and starts to utilize the number 1 facilities.
So this is just like a single restroom, right? There's just the one toilet.
That's it. 1 restroom, 1 way in, 1 way out, and he locked the door.
I think reflected, and then you kind of see in the mirror with this fractured reflection, the top half of her is slightly offset from the bottom half, as she sort of hides in this dank sort of corner and watches from her lair. She's going to try to assess, what is his fear?
Okay. Roll me a TN, let's say against, well, how would you like to assess the fear? I think I'm starting to understand this. Would you like to use mind, matter, physical, or ethereal? I think I'm starting to figure this out a little bit.
So I have this pulled up. I'm ready. Mind, and then matter is the psychic force physically. So I think this is more of a mind sort of situation.
Are you going to move? Remember, you can move your thing one way or another. Would you like to move that +1?
Yes. So I determined that my most useful, thinking the way I want to play this, I moved it. Oh, that's the wrong sheet. I really need one more screen, truthfully. So I think I decided I'm going to move it towards a -1 on the ethereal.
Okay.
And I think so that doesn't really come into play here. I think because I think this is more of a mind thing.
Well, I think if I'm reading my sheet right, you choose which one you want to use, and I actually have some TNs right here to use. So if you pick ethereal, I have a TN to use for that. If you pick mind, I have a TN to use for that, based upon my prey profiles that I have.
Oh, we can do ethereal. No, that'll work.
All right, do that. So give me a roll, but you want to be 5 or under.
This is a D12.
Is that correct? Right? Yep, D12 on ethereal, 5 or under.
Right.
Would you like to use?
I rolled a 1.
Oh, well, that's a critical success, if I'm not mistaken. I think we've hit our first critical success. Let's see here. A natural is a which one were you doing? Ethereal. Oh, I read that wrong. Sorry. I got a little excited. I love successes and failures. You have a critical failure of 1 if you did a mind or physical. You have a critical failure at 12 if you did matter or ethereal. So there's no crit success, but you didn't do any crit failures. I just got excited. I was like, oh my God. You know what I mean? Along those lines. So yeah, you're doing your ethereal attack while he's utilizing the restroom. In which way are you creeping into him to find his inner fear?
I think probably from the mirror, his back's probably to me. Mm-hmm. So I'm just envisioning sort of to kind of creep in and kind of feel out and get in his head. Mm-hmm. You just sort of like see her. She kind of like is creeping forward and kind of like reaching, and she's kind of like coming towards that ear almost to kind of like slip right in.
So this arm that really should only be 3 feet long, right? 3 feet long. As you look at the crack of the window, as if someone was looking at the crack of the mirror, they would see fingers start to come out through that black section. And then, of course, it becomes bigger and wider, and it's just kind of reaching out and going to the side of the head of Craig. You find that this is Craig. Craig was, let me write this down for you so I don't forget either. Craig, he was kind of the king rock star. He was the jock, he was a baseball team, big pitcher. Came to football, big quarterback, came to after high school, big belly from all the Miller High Life. At which point you start to really find the inner essence of Craig. And, even while he's number one, he's definitely thinking about centipedes. And he's kind of doing the look to the left of the commode, look to the right of the commode. And he's kind of checking to see if there's any centipedes that are going to come up over the side onto the rim. And, he's kind of unprotected right now. So he's really focused on making sure there's no centipedes in this space. That is the detail that you've divulged from his brain. What would you like to do next?
I think when he turns around, I'm going to wait until he's done. I'm not going to make the assumption that he's going to wash his hands.
Yeah.
I would never want
Craigs don't wash hands.
I would never want to venture to guess how many individuals do not wash their hands after they go to the restroom. I would not want to venture to guess that. But when he's done doing his number ones, she would like to manipulate the sink to turn it on without any action from him on her own, but nothing to come out of it. She wants to kind of say, okay, look, make the faucet squeak, turn it on, so that he gets intrigued and comes and looks at it.
He goes and takes a look immediately at what's happening. Information wise, he hears the noise. Now you have to pass a physical test for this water to turn on. So I should have asked for that first. I apologize. Yep. Let's do a physical test against that. Why don't you see if we can do a target 8 where you're trying to manipulate something.
Okay.
Truly in the world.
Okay. 10.
I think that works. Your hand slowly reaches back from the ear, finds its way over as it's coming back towards the sink, and you spin it. Your hand of gaseous form, of plasmatonic energy, whatever these fancy words are, becomes solid for just a second, turns that and pulls back into the mirror. At which point Craig obviously turns his head and he's like, "I'm nuts." You're thinking somebody came in and is playing a game with him along those lines. He moves over to the sink to turn the water off.
At this point, I'm going to take the obvious answer here. I have his fear. And as he reaches forward, this centipede starts coming from the faucet right next to where his hand is. Just sort of clattering and trying to get, that's my intent. See if we can do it, but try to reach out with its little legs and stick its head out.
You're definitely going to be draining essence at this time. So this would be the action, drain essence. That what you've done is prepared this situation by flipping the water on. And as you describe the idea of the centipede coming through on his hand, you'll get a +1 on this roll because he's already a little freaked out. He's already kind of on edge. You're creating in his mind this idea of a centipede being on him and coming out of the water. Is that correct? Or did I get it? Was it through the hole?
Through the hole. So like it squeaked, but like no water came out.
Yes.
Yeah.
I like that. Okay. So I'm going to go with let me go back down. Hold on. No, go up. I'm getting used to what I'm trying to do.
Can I ask a quick question?
Yeah.
I want to prototype something. I want to test something out. Is it possible for maybe the sludge man, maybe because he's part of the water system, help with that and maybe send some centipedes in the water that way to get some manipulations, get some help out there?
This would have been during the order that we were doing initiative that you said, I'm following Marlo.
Got it. Okay.
I'm going to go see where she's up to. And now you'd be watching this whole scenario happen and you could totally just dive right into it. Does that make sense?
Totally.
So, but next turn, that may come in handy. Let's say you're trying to roll under a 5 and actually under a 6. I apologize. Yep, under a 6.
Oh, a 2. On fire with the D12s today, baby.
Oh my God. This is all right. Let me check this. I think I'm doing this right. Let me check. Well, you have definitely succeeded in draining essence. What I need to do is make sure I get the proper number of essence. Oh, rich. Okay, hold on. Let me move up. You did it right. All right, essence drained. Roll a D12 for me. I'll let you help me make this decision.
8.
you add 4 essence to your essence pool. That is a kiss of the chef at that point. All right, that kind of brings you to a close. And I need to make sure I write in the right number there for you.
Oh, Rich, I was going to ask a question too.
Shoot.
So the action to do that I failed to do the little thing on the book. Did that take any essence? Because I know I had -1.
We made it another action. We made up our own action. So give it a 1.
Okay.
Yeah. And so we'll talk about the end of this round after Gavin, just to double check. But really, some people are going to come out with no essence and be down. Some people might be even. Some people may have made essence after this happens. So we'll see how that goes. Gavin, as you're in this tube, you're in this 1.5-inch pipe and you're flowing around in the water, and it's kind of brown and reddish and just nasty. You find yourself coming out of an open spigot. And out of that open spigot, you find yourself inside of a Tupperware bowl. And right in front of you is Fido. And Fido is getting ready to enjoy some water at the park. They're playing ball along those lines. With Fido is his master. You know what I mean? His Tom is there with Fido. And they are, playing in the park. What would you like to do? You now find yourself in a Tupperware bowl with a dog and a man throwing a tennis ball.
Okay. Interesting. So I think the first thing I'm going to do is... So if I'm right, humans have fears. Animals do not, correct?
Oh, they do not. You are correct.
Okay.
And by the way, animals, just so we can talk about rules, they have the special trait instinctual. The prey does not suffer from fear. Fear eaters do not require the detect fear action to drain essence or abduct them. So animals are free fear or free essence, basically. Mm-hmm. But of course, they're limited on how much essence that they have.
For sure. Okay. Interesting. I like it. Okay, so
You're
first
at a
thing...
crossroad.
Yeah. Let me see. I want to... Let's do this. Okay. I'm going to detect fear on that first human.
Okay.
I am... how would I go about it? I think I'm going to use a physical aspect.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe there's going to be, when I kind of come out of the spigot into this Tupperware, maybe there's going to be a large plop of water to kind of just arouse... Sorry, that sounded awful. Just to arouse suspicion of the owner. Something just fell into the dog bowl.
100%. Right? What is that? What just... Fido, I can't let him just drink anything that came out of that water. I'm telling you, I swear there are rats in the sewer system in Galion, Ohio, to where, he turns quickly to see what's going on. You need to roll above a 7.
Okay. Let's see. Oh. Well, cocked die, but still not great for me. A 1.
A 1 on a physical.
I think I fail. Physical.
Is a critical failure.
Yep.
So one of the things that you find about Tom and Fido is Fido is loyal, man's best friend. Probably one of the greatest dogs in the world, if you had to guess. But Tom, he turns red so fast. His nose gets red. His cheeks get red. He gets so flustered quickly. If anything, you could say he's a very rash individual. So he reaches over immediately without thinking and grabs the Tupperware and just throws the water all over the ground and basically disrupts your position and where you are. And you get no readings. You've been split into 1,000 little pieces that you're now pulling back together into a fashion to return to your lair. So That was not very much fun. So, end of round, I'm going to roll for stress and the hysteria of the community. Because every time you go out and do anything, you're causing stress on these people. When you're successful, when you're unsuccessful, Tom still doesn't understand what that noise was. So at the end of each round, I roll against how much stress that you developed during the game. And if I roll under the number or equal to, I bump the hysteria up. And on the first roll, equal to or less, I equaled. So that means the town hysteria has moved up to 5. And just so everybody knows, when we get to about 10, that's when the Stranger Things kids show up and they start trying to figure out what's going on. Oh, nothing on that one. Let me cross that off. Nope, nothing on that one. Had to get another super low roll. Just so everybody knows at home, as we're moving up and the more stress you make, the bigger the hysteria checks are the number is that I have to equal or go under. So my chances of getting some good hysteria go up with the more actions that they take. Obviously, I think that was a really great first round. Everybody got out of their lair. Everybody did something. Someone was successful. A couple people weren't. And, I kind of like games that are that way. Blair, how much essence did you think you utilized and did you bring back to your eventual, what's your current pool at? How much did you lose?
So I lost 2. So I'm at 18 right now.
Okay, so you're at 18. How about Marlo? How did the Wraith do?
On essence, I have 8 now.
Okay, so you brought back essence.
Yes, 1 more than I took.
All right, so that means you've moved up in the pool. Next, slug.
Sludge, yeah, 2. I've lost
sludge.
2.
Did I say slug or did I say sludge?
Slug, you said.
I said sorry.
No, you're good. Yeah, and I lost 2. Or spent 2.
And you spent 2. All right. So at this point, everybody should have moved for the segment 0. You should have moved something up or moved something down on your little attribute chart, right? At this point, everyone still has a manipulation available for their next round of utilizing. And, as I mentioned, we're about halfway to the point that kids on bikes are going to start showing up, checking out what's going on. Maybe Timmy, who was talking to his high school chemistry teacher, noticed something with that smell in the air of the old books. And, maybe he caught a glimpse of what was going on. But there's definitely something happening in the community. They know, even though we're leading up to Halloween, it shouldn't be weird like this. Roll initiative, D12.
I also have a quick question.
Yeah.
If I understood correctly, but I could have read wrong, when do we get to volunteer some essence into? Because I would love to.
I think you could do that now.
Do that now. Then
I think you guys talk about it. You know what? I should have asked Alexi about this. I think in a community game, you should be able to community-wise pool your essence to move the doom clock up 1. So in this case, to go to segment 1, we need 5 essence total. So someone could give 1, someone could give 4, someone could give 2 and 2 and 1. I don't care.
And we do have, I'm going to try to say your username right, Amundal,
yes.
Who has also played before and can help us out.
Oh my gosh. Feel free, Amundal. If we do something a little weird, just type it in chat. We're always glad to get on the right page. We've all been reading this for like a week and a half, trying to put our heads around it. So I'm sure we're going to screw everything up.
Well, it typically works best at the start of turns. Are they all working towards one goal together, or do you all have individual goals?
They all have individuals, but we're on a one shot, so I think it doesn't matter because we're literally going to get maybe 2 or 3 segments, and we'll be lucky if we do. You guys could all – why don't you talk? I think it should be one goal if we're moving the clock collectively. So figure out who's getting what points, what your one goal is going to be. And I got to grab another beer. I'll be right back.
So what goals did you guys have, end goals did you guys have for Chosen?
I more just. How do I say this? I wanted just kind of to eat everybody.
Fair.
So, whatever helps me do that, I'll happily contribute.
For me, it's less about eating everybody and more about feeling satiated.
Okay. And then mine was more like that kind of domination stuff. I'm trying to think what could be like a common goal that we all had. Maybe.
Okay, I'm back with 2 beers. Did you all come up with an end goal?
For all of our end goals are kind of, they're all a little different. Mundell said perhaps dominating the community and turning it into a feeding ground for you.
There you go.
I like
I'm
it.
okay
I
with
like
that.
it.
Yeah.
I'm
That
okay
sounds like a
with
good
that.
end goal.
Okay.
All right. How do y'all want to chip in some essence to maybe move this guy up one before you start your next turn?
I'm willing to put in, because I just made an essence, so I'm willing to put in 2.
Ooh.
I would have put in 2 as well.
Okay.
I will put in 1 because we only need 5.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Take care of your essence. Everybody make your changes. Take a look at segment 1. You're going to get to gain an ability. So as we look down, there's the action list, right? And after the action list, we get to the ability list around page 38 or so. From there, you're going to be able to take a look. And I'm going to tell everybody to kind of take a peek and digest, maybe adding an ability. And then also after you add an ability, you may or may not move another one of the attribute points. Let me take a quick peek and make sure I read that properly. You may choose to move 1 spot on the attribute wheel. So they're taking a look at their abilities that are there. The actions kind of seem to be your daily drivers, where you're going, what you're doing, things along those lines. In the sense of the ability list, that looks like it can get a little nutty. Just like there's an influence, which, hey, if I needed someone to take a book, I might want to influence them. Terrifying presence. If I was wanting to come out of a mirror and just be me and scare the shit out of someone, might be a terrifying presence. Essence conduit, alter an object. Again, there's some ideas there that could go with both. Instant digestion. A Furiator may spend essence earned during an encounter without transforming it into its essence pool. Spending essence this way requires passing a TN7 minor physical check or a TN5. If the Furiator fails, it loses 2 essence. That means you get to use the essence without bringing it back. May not be a big deal in our type of a game. We're just one-shotting. We're not going to be doing this over and over. Look at Frenzy. Furiator lets loose an orgy of destroying a physical object, location, or prey. No essence is earned from the prey. Wow. So if some kids in bikes were kind of coming after you, we don't like to destroy children, so we're going to just get rid of that one. But you get the idea. I was chatting about the game rules and some of the ideas. Once you influence someone or you go, total absorption. Yeah. So imagine the, I shouldn't say Marlo, Wraith. Just imagine, Craig. Did I say Craig? Yeah. Craig in the bathroom. If you went for total absorption, you would have had a couple more essence. Now, unfortunately, Craig may have drank himself to death in that moment and found themselves, kind of like, shameless when the guy was dead in the bathroom. You know what I mean? That can happen. So don't know if anybody likes Shameless, but that's a good one. So I've rambled enough, hopefully giving you all some ideas, letting you look at the ability list as we start this next round. Has everybody chosen an ability? And maybe, Gavin, you're kind of right below me. I'm going to just go in my little circle here. Gavin, did you choose an ability? Would you like to tell us?
I think I did. I think I was getting a little big for my britches, but I'll stick with it. I think I chose environmental distortion.
Oh, let me find that one.
It's on the bottom of page 2.
Oh, passing a blah, blah, blah challenge allows a fear to shape the surrounding material world. This can create small natural disasters, barriers such as sinkholes, landslides, floods, or bogs, or water spouting out of the ground. A lot of good ideas there. Scholarly teacher. And actually, that's not. You're the lingering scholar. Sorry.
Yes. No, I'll get
lingering scholar. What did you think? What did you see?
I think I went with your example one to pick because I was reading that one as you said it. I think I'm going to pick influence.
By the way, great comment in chat. Total absorption is great for keeping bodies from being found. These smokes! Yeah. So imagine basically doing the full siphon, right, of someone where you get all of their essence and then you manipulate the ground and they just disappear.
Wow.
So now our stress level doesn't go up as high. Because they're still going to be stressed. They're gone. But okay, influence. You pulled that one. Marlo, what'd you add to the repertoire?
Yeah, total absorption is it. She's trying to eat them.
Okay.
She wants
that's
to
right.
Consume.
You're the big
consume all the organs. Give me their meats.
That is...
I feel like the two of you have these like big brain goals, and then like mine is just like this one guy. I just want this one guy to read this one book.
Fucking guy.
This fucking guy. I just want to. It's like y'all go do y'all's thing. I'm just gonna.
So as we move into the next round, if I have this right, scholar, you know all about Steve. Was it Steve Crowley? Steve Crowley. You know all about Steve. So you actually have that information in your head about you already. So it's not necessarily like if you wanted to hunt him down, you know, you kind of know what's going on with him. You got that. Hunt has to be a chosen or a protector. Yeah, this guy's not a chosen or protector. This is just a civilian. Sorry. Stalk. There's the one. The fear to travels to previous encounters, praise location. So you now can stalk with him. And Marlo, just like your bully Craig, you kind of have that availability. And Fido and I didn't write down the other guy's name.
I think Tom was it.
Fido and Tom. Let's go with Tom. I was going to name everybody after HSC people, but if you have to kill them, I didn't think that would be fun. So I took that away. So Fido and Tom. And Steve is definitely there. And Craig is there. And we both know some of the fears that are going on, except for
I don't, right? Because
Sludge.
I failed. Yeah,
he has no idea what's happening in those worlds.
Nothing. Yeah.
All right, so D12. Let's get some initiatives. Let's see who's first this time.
I rolled an 8.
So did I, but I don't go. I just rolled an 8.
6.
4.
Gavin, you collected yourself from the ground. You've sucked all together. You found a little bit of an inner little line of water, and you find yourself back in the river. Or, no, Sludge, you return to your lair. That's right. Everybody returned to their lair at the end. I just made you return. So exit the lair. Do whatever you want to do. Tell me what's happening.
Yeah. So, okay. So I'm going to leave the lair, of course. I'm taking 6 with me. A little more conservative this time.
Okay.
I am going to next. Can I do 2 things? So one is, I was thinking of doing communing. I was going to commune with my monster peeps.
100%. That is a 0 stress, 0 effort. So you've pulled out of the lair, and according to the ethereal mind over matter physical highway network, you have the ability. You guys all know each other when you're in a community. You have that availability of that mind meld that happens in this world of fear eaters. So talk to the team.
So I'm going to commune. I sensed a disturbance in the waterways with centipedes not where they usually are. And I goes, that's a good idea. And so Sludge Man is going to kind of put out that sense to the other monsters. Should we wait for their turns, or I don't? How does communing usually work?
No, you're going to do all your side of this picture,
Cool.
and then we're going to move down initiative order, and they can respond back because they may choose to do something else. Let's go with what you're sending out to all them.
Cool. So, okay. Yeah, I was gonna kind of send out. I will be kind of. Let me see. Where was I thinking of going again? Oh no! Why did it crash?
Oh, I
Okay.
hate when that happens.
Yeah, that's okay. It's back. I am going to say, hey, and his voice is very it's almost like there's water constantly in it, and like there's gasping and like patooing and spitting of things whenever you hear his voice. But I'm going to be in near the, I don't know how to say this, but I'm going to be in like kind of more of the history center. So if anyone wants to hunt together, I'm willing to split some stalking time and energy if we find together. And then I will go and roam kind of in that area.
Okay.
Did you say city center?
Yeah, so like where I see like the history center, kind of like in that general area, maybe a little south, so it's
Gotcha.
not as busy. Maybe above South Park. I didn't have great luck there. Yeah, exactly.
I just hit on the map the Galion History Center.
Or maybe Splash Park.
I thought you were going to go there and meet. Well, it's always open for us. But I had a feeling that was going to be the first place you went. I was like, he's going to come out of like a hose into some kid's mouth or something.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, I'll say let's pivot if that's okay. Let's, instead of just kind of going into a vague spot, I'll be in Splash Park.
Can everybody hear him but me?
Did I crash?
I can hear Gavin.
Okay, he's back. He's back for me.
Okay.
Sorry, he's back for me. Sorry.
Okay, so sorry. I was like, if we could just pivot really quickly to the Splash Park instead of just general downtown I'll be in Splash Park if anyone wants to. And then I'm going to roam in that Splash Park area.
Okay. So you have your markings of everything that you've done points-wise, which I think roam is the only thing you did that required any type of points. Yep. Stress-wise, I think that's the only thing that added to the stress currently in this environment. So let me go to where you are. Just put that in. I think Marlo, the Wraith is up next, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes. I think I think with the Wraith's kind of like idea of like it's really an us versus them sort of situation. It's an us as we're different than these people, and we could be of assistance to each other, at least right now, right? So maybe later on, she would be backstabby, but right now she's like, yeah, I could use some help, I suppose. So she decides to follow to this area. What do we say? It was the Splash? Was it?
Splash Park.
Splash Park. Yes. Yeah.
Old school 70s. There's like a shower head shooting down on kids. There's some kind of wiggly. There's some kind of wiggly hoses that run that the kids go through and shooting out through the ground water at the same time.
Yeah, I'm going to head there and try to find reflective surfaces to kind of see, like, what can I see? What, can I be of assistance?
What's beautiful in the creation of this park is lots of stainless steel, lots of water, right? Lots of water, needed not to rust. So a lot of housings are made with wrapped stainless steel around those. Not necessarily a mirror, but a reflective source.
Yeah.
Just FYI. All right, Blair.
So in response, I think the lingering scholar kind of has when communicating, has a very whispery voice, and kind of like the sound of that whoosh. So it says something like, I can't do with like a W, like just wonderful or something like that. And yeah, she'll go there too. I'm gonna take 7 essence again.
Mm-hmm.
And so just to get this right, this splash park, is it like a water park?
Yeah.
Or is it more like an art park?
It's a water park for middle school, younger, older. So think of the idea in a residential neighborhood that you would walk up and there was 5 or 6 features, and those features are the water coming out of the ground that the kids run over. They're the shower that comes out incrementally and sprays water on people. Kind of a run through with these wiggly worms things that are spraying water everywhere. So it's a very fun, festive, low cost. It's free to the public.
Okay. I think I want to make an action. If I can, or design an action.
You are so special. Always in other action with you.
I'm really hooked on these books. I want to try to lure, if I can.
Mm-hmm.
And like just kind of like materialize one of the books and stuff. That's maybe, let's say it's a. I'm trying to think. What's up?
Well, you better go children's book. I know we're riding the line on this one. You better go children's book.
I was gonna say like a comic book or something. Let's.
Murray Sadak writes a really good book where the wild things are.
Oh,
that's all the rage in the 70s.
Yeah, maybe. Okay. Maybe it's like, I think it's going to be is there like a pool here too?
Oh, sure. A little small pool. This isn't your Olympic pool. 6 foot tops. Everybody's playing around. 1 lifeguard, that kind of thing.
Okay. So I think it is a book that has like a big like picture of this like Olympic diver. And it's a little like old and stuff, but it says like Olympic diving techniques on there, and it's kind of like close to the pool area, and she's just kind of like waiting.
That feels very physical.
Yeah.
So again, I'm playing out what I think things feel like.
Mm-hmm.
That really feels like you're creating a physical entity. You're creating something out of nothing, or you're transporting something from one place to another. But I kind of think creating in my brain. So that's another action. We're going to kind of make that up. We're going to call it. What'd you call it?
I said lure.
Lure. Okay, lure.
Yeah.
And so you're going to have the physical TN related to lure, that you're going to have to create this item that gets people's attention. Okay. This isn't going to be easy. Just FYI. This isn't. I'm putting this in 8.
Okay. I'm going to. Also, how much?
You're using that manipulate?
I think so. And how much essence was this to kind of like?
Let me look at some other ones. I'm going to put it in the higher category. I'm putting it as a 4. Yeah, this is you've made quite a thing. Notice the things that are 0 are like I'm moving. The things that are roam or hunt are 2. Okay. All of a sudden, when I start draining essence, I'm at 3. Siphon is 4, and I think this definitely fits into the. We're not trying to abduct someone at 6, but I think we're doing something pretty heavy here.
Okay. Yeah, I'm going to add that manipulation to it.
Okay.
Let's see. I got 8. What did you say?
8 or higher. You're good.
Yay. Okay.
Okay. So, but you burned your manipulation, so you got 9. Did you go 7 with 8, or was it 8 with 9?
It was 7.
Oh, perfect use of that manipulation. So it worked out great.
Okay.
All right. that does cause quite a bit of stress because, some people were sitting there and then they got up and did some things and they turned around and there's a book. So maybe kind of a little stressful. What was that? I don't know what that is. Everybody's at the water park. So we got a full day going on here. You've got kids playing around. You got older brothers playing around. You got parents lounging. You got that one drunk dad who's out there with his kid in the water. It's a family fun day going on over here at the Splash Park. Now, I think Gavin was our first fear eater on the scene.
Yep.
All of a sudden there's some brown ruddy water here or there that's showing up and you're getting a good view of everything that's happening within the park itself. Anything you should note that you want to create in this space? What are your thoughts?
Yep.
How are you moving forward?
I'm planning something a little bit. And is there maybe an area for the adults? They drop their kids off, maybe a bar. Maybe like a little 21 and only lazy river you can take a big beer with or something. Something along those lines.
There's neither or any of those. But what there is a foot pond. And you see that all the adults, majority, Prado, 80-20, find themselves sitting by this foot pool that you just kind of put your feet in. It's a lot of bubbly water. It's a little warmer than normal. But they got their Colemans, no Yeti in 74. They got their Coleman coolers. They BYOB it. So you probably got like half a dozen of those adults that bring their kids somewhere and they go sit off in the hot water and drink their Millers and, enjoy the day.
Okay.
Are you playing anything along those lines or did I manipulate you up incorrectly that one?
No. That's exactly what I'm looking for. Okay, so then let me take a look at the action list again just to make sure.
While he's taking a look at this offline, we were talking in green room and we were talking in some of our areas where we bring people in. And I definitely scaled this back from 4 players to 3 players because I said, wow, this could get really long for the players not playing. And so we've tried to break it into these 2 sections. But yeah, there's definitely a delineation between your turn, your turn, your turn, unlike D&D and other games. Gavin, back to you.
Okay. So I think so a little meta. So I just kind of want to talk through it because this is kind of a little bit of staging. I kind of want to siphon these people. I want to see what that looks like. But I know it's broad, so I kind of want it more of is there something I can do, like a mass marking or kind of keep them in place, so maybe some of the others can work with them. Anything kind of like that. Maybe we can make our own, but I'm just trying to kind of keep them where they are.
Here's a great thing. Let's talk about the rules for just a second. You're going for siphon. That's an MT or E, which is matter or ethereal. You can harvest small amounts of essence while surrounding prey. Half a dozen people. Perfect. Hot water pool. Drinking. Perfect. You got a great scenario set up here. I've described the amount, the maximum. There you go. You kind of get the idea. There's 6 people sitting around. They're all civilians. So the max is going to be 6 essence total. Everyone else could choose to feed from the prey. Harvesting their essence requires knowledge, at least 1 fear. Detect fear. I thought there was one that let you, as the other fear eaters, suck off of. Which one is it?
I remember that in the examples that there is definitely something like that.
I could have swore maybe they do siphon also.
All right, hold on.
I wonder if they do siphon also.
Is it an ability? Because I saw some of the abilities were when another fear eater does something, then you get something.
That may be it.
Look at the example that's loading screen at the moment to make sure we try and do this a little bit right. I'm looking at chat to see if Emmanuel kicked in. I'm like, did he kick in? Dude, you want to do this and you want to do that?
It's penetrating gaze. It's uses its mind aspect to perform a penetrating gaze to absorb additional essence. Yeah. Okay.
All right. So you would have to have penetrating gaze to be able to take part in this. Otherwise, I think what have to happen is you need to, from all surrounding prey, provider. Okay.
Okay.
Essence generation table. Where's that essence generation table? Let me take a look at that real quick while you're putting that together. While we're talking about this scenario, because I can kind of multitask, I think Blair, you're next, or is it Marlo who's next?
Marlo's next.
Oh. Did Rich freeze for anyone else?
No, I was looking. Sorry, that was me.
You were very still.
That was me being so still. I was reading chat for help. I'm in typical provider mode that I'm like, is someone helping me in chat? What are they saying? Because I'm going to use it. And I just literally did not move. I'm wondering if you have to detect fear before you do a siphon. I don't think you need to.
Sense.
I don't know. It did not seem like you needed to.
It doesn't. Yeah, it just says it gives it similar to, but it doesn't say anything specifically about it.
We might be able to use this as a distraction, though, to do something else if we wanted to. The rest of us who aren't siphoning.
Yeah, for sure.
Because this is the adults, right, in this scenario. Yeah. So, I mean, we're not probably going to prey on the kids in any real way, but we could drain some essence from them.
Okay, here we go. It's just a general grab of essence. I like it. Thank you so much for the rules clarification. That's how we felt. Like we felt like we should be doing detect fear, but this one it says you don't. So why don't you do? Would you like to do a matter or an ethereal? What attribute aspect are you going to use?
I think I'm going to try a matter.
Okay.
And let me just ask a quick clarifying. So when we gave our kind of collective pool, we moved another aspect on the aspect wheel. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Drew, you could have totally bumped that up one more because a matter is when you go under. So yes, you could, or I should say bump up. You could have minused it. I feel like I'm playing THACO. You know what, guys? This is another thing I really liked about this game system. Lots of charts, lots of numbers, lots of areas, only in 40-something pages. And that appeals to the D&D guy in me. But okay, back to you.
No, totally. Okay. Just because I want to try it out. I want to play it. So I'm going to try a matter. I have a -1 in it. And then just in my general matter. And then I'm just going to use my manipulation now just to see what happens.
Okay. That'll give you another negative, right? Because you want to go under.
Yep. So I'll have a -2 to whatever my roll is.
Okay.
Oh, boy.
That doesn't
not
sound
great
good
today. No, on 9. So 7 total.
Oh, that's kind of not where my brain was. I was bumping that target number up. Or I should say down below the 6 because I felt like, you have a bunch of people in that area and you're really trying to create something. At this point, you've been found out. You the brown red starts to be in the water down below. Someone immediately, starts to, quote the Bible right there at you. Their feet, they have everyone pull your feet out of the water and they say, demon, tell me your name. And your whole environment, everyone knows what's going on. They all are freaked out. They've all backed up. Now, as these 6 people that have been drinking start to back up out of the pool, it's Marlo's turn.
Oopsie.
God, I haven't played that in a long time.
While everyone's kind of distracted by this, I'm going to look for somebody who's an outlier. Someone who is away from the masses. Someone who's a loner, who doesn't really want to be there.
1000%. There's always the introvert that is there because their kids made them come.
Right.
And they're meeting with the other neighborhood kids. But this person, who's me really in life, doesn't really want to hang out with any of them and just sits off to the side in their chair and reading a book. So Is this person close enough that they hear all of what's going on, or do you want them far enough away that they do not hear any of the, in the name of Jesus, I rebuke you?
I think it's close enough that they hear it so that they're sort of focused on that. So I can read their fear.
Okay. Do a detect fear for me. With the physical, mental, do you need to go above or below the number?
I think it's more of a mental. I'm feeling mental.
Okay, 6 is your TN.
Was that supposed to be below? I mean, I rolled a 7, so the success or failure. All right.
Mind is over, so you made it.
Oh, okay. Wow. Hey.
Excellent.
Nice.
By the way, this person is also. Let me check their. Oh wow, that's really great. Okay, this person's special trait matches what we kind of feel about this person. They're ignored is their special trait, which means other prey do not learn their knowledge before they die. So not only do you roll a d12 for me.
8.
Oh,
sure.
Tomas, not Thomas. Tomas. He's a man of the community. You know, he does good things here and there, and you know he's a mechanic by trait. But as you heard, you immediately feel that he feels like he's on the outer edges of society. So you know that introvertness has moved it to where people have stopped really kind of bringing him into their fold. You know, he does things with his kids, and he's very supportive of his family. But he's completely scared of commitment. He's not too sure how he's in the relationship he's in. You know, he fears about, you know, the future with his children. And as they become older and they leave, whether or not that there'll be a relationship with them, because he kind of lives on the periphery of life.
So this is I'm gonna kind of talk about what I want to do and kind of figure out how this will work. His fear basically is like, how am I gonna, like, I have these kids, I have all this stuff, like how is that gonna look in the future? I don't understand how I fit, what my place is, sort of thing. Am I understanding that correctly?
Marlo, you haven't been divorced yet, have you?
No, I've been married
God.
for a long.
Because that puts you into commitment issues all the rest of your life. So after you have your first divorce, all you do is live in commitment issues. So yes, in the idea of, is this person really going to be with me for the rest of my life? Is this person, and you know, he's thinking about his kids. He's a loner. He lives outside the regular world. People quit really, you know, he might get invited to something there, but if he shows up, no one really cares. So the commitment aspect is being alone. The commitment aspect is doubting people's sincerity. And I'm joking about the divorce thing. That was just I put a joke in. I shouldn't, but I did.
I think what she's going to attempt to do is sort of say, I know how you feel being alone, being separated. What if I told you that I could give you forever?
Oh, wow. This game can get so dark. Okay. How action are you looking to use with this? So as you talk, you've done detect fear. So you kind of already know what's going on there. I need to mark that on my chart here.
I'm going to say this is probably abduction.
Okay. So abduction. You are literally trying to bring that together. All right. So let me double check abduction. This is our first time doing an abduction. I wonder what the TN, let me look at my person. Did I hit the right button? By the way, I see your chat, and I'm almost in the same boat that we need another session after we kind of get this first session down. I do. I kind of feel like once we get through this first one, we need to pull this to the end. An abduction. Okay, there we go. Let me go to this. You did detect fear. All right. You are whispering into the ear of Tomas. And you're whispering these sweet nothings. Like a whippoorwill, right? You know, the trees move and you maybe, am I hearing? Did I hear a cat cry? Did I hear something out there? Those words of holding, those words of comfort, those words of, this isn't the world you belong in. This isn't the place that you need to be. This is not what you can do. I can provide more. I can provide a better world. You lie completely. You lie through everything you're saying. You're not providing anywhere positive. You're not applying anywhere to growth. You're trying to get this person back down to your lair and absorb them completely. So as Tomas is going through this, you need to, let me double check that one. You need to give me a roll on ethereal, because you're I believe if we get this right, you're whispering in the ear. That's very ethereal, right?
Yes.
You need to give me a roll on that, and I'll tell you if you're below the TN.
Okay, I'm just gonna.
By the way, what's your ability modifier for ethereal? And are you? And I think you've used your manipulation. Is that right?
No, I haven't used my manipulation yet.
Oh, okay. You have a manipulation.
I think I'm going to use it in this moment. What do I have to do differently when I use it?
Just give yourself another negative.
Okay. So I'm going to roll this dice. I'm going to see what we get. It's a 3.
Natural?
Natural.
Well, you've used your manipulation. I am going to let it go away.
Yes.
Talk to me about how the rest of that plays out. I've kind of set the scene for you. You are successful. So how does this now proceed? So obviously, as a child there.
Yeah. So I think you see this sort of moment where there's this look in his eye as he's looking at his kids. And they're playing and they look happy. And there's a sort of sense of removedness, right? He's seeing the moment of pleasure and fun that his children are having, but he knows that it's not his moment, it's theirs. And he doesn't feel connected to it, and he doesn't see joy in it. And then you hear slowly as this sort of whispering, distant voice calls, Tomas, you're other. You're different. I know that feeling. They don't know you. No one here does. And no one will. This world, it can't understand you. You've been rejected, denied, and you feel lost, alone. And I'm sorry to say that you are alone. And this joy you see before you, it's not yours. And it hasn't been for a long time, has it? What if I told you? Joy, pleasure, all of those things could be yours. Truly yours, not influenced by anyone else, how they feel and what they want and what they need from you. Come to me. I can provide it all. Oneness with me, with all the others. To know love, to know joy. Become one. Belong. And I see it's like sort of like that moment where, you know, in a cartoon where there's a pie on the windowsill and the smell just sort of like reaches out, you know, that sort of like wispy hand, but this one's a black wispy hand, and it sort of like caresses his side of his face and pulls him back towards a reflection in a pipe.
A +1 manipulation for you on that one. I think what happens is Tomas stands up, knocks his chair back, and starts to walk where you need him to walk. Of course, at one point, as he's walking off, the children that he brought to the park, Dad, where are you going? And they start walking towards him. At this time, though, Blair, they're about to walk past the book that you've situated in the park itself. What would you like to do now? You see the abduction taking place. You see the two children. You know your book's there. They're about to cross that plane of seeing your book.
God damn it! How do I follow that? That was so fucking.
That was creepy. I actually want to go to Marlo's lair now. I want to be comforted and loved. I'm like, yeah, I'll go. Sign me up.
Oh my god, that was so good. Okay, so I think if they're walking past the book,
and you don't have to do anything with that. I just threw that out as I'm looking at the story play out, and I see this Tomas kick his chair back and go, I'm going here. Wherever you want him to go, he's going there. We don't know where that is right now.
Yeah.
But the kids notice Dad walking off. So you can choose to deal with these kids. You can choose to ignore these kids. It's up to you.
I think I am. I think I'm going to use my ability, and I want to influence them. Kind of like as they're like calling to like their dad, they hear in the background the other guy that was like, David, oh, everybody get out of the water, all that commotion. And I think I want to kind of touch on that teenage, like, don't tell me what to fucking do. Like, don't tell me to get out of the water. And like, I want to influence them to kind of like forget about their dad and turn around and like face this guy that's like, blow, like trying to.
So you mean tap into their internal teenage angst of being assholes?
Exactly.
Yeah, 100%. I think we've all seen that. I think maybe some of us have accidentally been that teenage asshole once in a while. So 100% you can influence into that.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So I have +1, and that's a mine.
Let's look at influence. That's a MVM. This is cause stress 2.
Maybe I will find. Oh, there it is. Okay. Yeah. So the fear eater's mind reaches out, influencing its prey by passing a TN9 challenge. It changes the prey's behavior, creating a favorable manipulation during a future encounter. So I don't know.
What was it again?
It's influence, my ability. I just got.
It could give me the ability to go away. You could give.
Oh, okay.
No. But okay, hold on. I'm reading this different. All right. The fear eater sends out a wave of interdimensional energy to calm the masses. You have to pass a TN9, or you have to go above a TN9 or below a TN3. Removing the hysteria. No, I moved. Influence. By passing a TNN mind challenge, it changes the prey's behavior, creating a favorable manipulation during a future encounter. You just get a manipulation if you get this right. If you pass the 9 check, you're going to be able to change the prey's behavior, which are those 2 kids, and you'll get a manipulation for your future encounter.
Oh, okay.
That's how I read it.
Okay.
Cool. And you know what? I'm the provider.
Gotta get the hood on.
I'm the provider tonight.
Yes.
And so that is the way it's going to go. We can change the roll later, but that'll get us through tonight.
Okay. And I have +1 to mind already. Mm-hmm. So, come on. I got an 8, like a 7 on the die.
This game is ruthless.
And a +1, so that's 8.
So,
okay.
So it didn't work.
No. Oh, yeah. No. Does it? Let me just see. Because in the... Oh, attribute prerequisite. Okay. Never mind. And I also spent 1 more essence. Yay.
And you failed. So the stress was pretty crappy because at this point, the kids, they started to feel that, oh, hey, I need to go mess with Karen. They didn't have Karens back then, but they were still Karens.
Yeah.
To go mess with the Karens, telling them what to do. But in the time frame that you've distracted the 2 younger children, and Tomas was under the race control, Tomas has left the field of view. So I'm making now a phase 3, which I believe for Gavin and Blair is going to just be return to lair, unless you two, Gavin, do you want to do something else besides return to lair?
I think I'm okay.
Because you can keep blowing actions. I mean, not blowing in a bad way, but you can keep doing actions.
Actually, wait. Let me check one thing.
You could choose to pick a different scenario in that exact same place and kind of push on. It's all about how much essence.
No, I'm a little angry. So you know what? Let's push it. Let's push it a little bit.
That's right. Push your luck.
So can I don't know. Is this a Rome again? Like, I want the person who called, like, demon in the water, whatever that Karen's name is. Can I learn the fear of that Karen?
Hell yeah.
Detect fear on that Karen?
Yeah.
All right, let's do that then. I'll detect a fear on that Karen then. And how I'm going to do it is, I'm sure she's still at the water, like trying to be, yelling at people, but like right by the water. And then I'm going to like change the shape of the water right in front of her so that it's kind of bubbling and oozing, and it's a little more red now to kind of to feed off that like satanic fear that maybe it's blood or something like that. So it's a little more red, bubbling, kind of right in front of her, almost maybe like a geyser push, it's kind of physical force just right in front of her, so that I can kind of hone in on her.
What did you roll?
Oh. So I have a +1 physical, so it's going to be a plus. I mean, that's what I was aiming for. Mm-hmm. Is that okay?
Yep. Roll for it.
I got a 7 + 1 is an 8.
Oh, that wins. Wins. That wins the challenge. What's really interesting about Daphne that you picked up on this search of detect fear is she is a very strong, resilient woman within the church. She is more than this typical mortal that you run into. Roll a D12 for me. Or actually, I should. Let me roll D12. That way you don't know. You know that Daphne is afraid of vampires. Not only does she carry holy water in her purse at all times, she also has a wooden stake that looks like one of those large pencils from Cedar Park fairs. And so it is a large pencil from Cedar Park Fair, but she keeps it as a stake. That this is not just an 18-inch pencil that's this big around. It's a stake to her, and it's sharpened homely. So Daphne is what you've learned on that fear. Are you wanting to take advantage of that situation?
You know what? I think I'm going to return to lair now, but good to know that Daphne has
so you now
water
have
on her.
Daphne in your pick. Oh, talk to me, scholarly, evil spirit.
I mean, yeah, the scholar is also pretty mad. She like fabricated this book and nobody touched it. So
It's a good read.
it's a good read. It's all about how to dive at the pool. And I think I think I have 2 more essence left, which is just enough to oh wait, hold on. Let me make sure I did it correctly.
Yeah, let's check the action list. I'm doing the same thing. I got 2 left. What can I do with 2?
It's just enough to siphon. So I think I might do that.
Siphon is, oh yeah, 2. Okay, yes, you're going to siphon. Go for it.
And I think to kind of like, this is awful. I think to kind of like, I don't know, like, you know what's one thing? Everybody at a water park, the one thing that everybody fears is, I was going to say someone shitting in the pool.
Very true.
Nobody wants that. Yeah, nobody wants that. True. So just kind of in like a moment of like, this sucks. Nothing I did worked. I think she's going to kind of ethereal kind of, or maybe this is more mind. I think she's going to kind of send if this was D&D, it would be a stinking cloud, but just kind of a scent of like feces.
Oh, you totally have that ability. You create this sense of old book smell already. So you already have within your essence the ability to generate something for the olfactory zone.
Yeah.
Did I say that right? Olfactory?
Olfactories, yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Good. All right, give it a roll. Give it a go.
So is this more mind or ethereal? I guess. I think this is more mind, kind of like altering.
Let me look at something real quick because I have a note on my head that I want to call it matter, which is the same as ethereal. So you want to be under the target number that I'm going to give you.
Okay, I want to be under. And I do, my other thing, I gave myself a -1 in ethereal as well.
Okay. So you're going to pick ethereal.
Mm-hmm.
So you get the -1.
Okay.
And you want to be 5 or lower.
Okay. Come on.
Shitty sound. I wouldn't be able to help, right? Because I'm already sludgy. I'm sure I just left something behind. I know it's not my turn anymore, but is there anything I could do to help?
No.
Okay. Nope. Just thought I'd try.
Shitty smell. I got a 1.
Oh, you got it. All right. So you pulled a siphon event.
Which technically, I got a 0.
You pulled a siphon event.
Yes.
Off of all those people. You've actually put into the base fear that everyone has. That, well, all the smart people have a fear of germs. All the smart people have a fear of disease. And you put into them, you instilled the idea of, oh my God, what's in this water? Do you smell that? That smells bad. And you walked out of this with 3 essence points from just siphoning off the group that's around.
Yes.
At which point are you returning to your lair?
Yeah, then I'll return. That was just kind of like out of anger of not really doing much.
So you've returned to your lair. Gavin's returned to his lair. Marlo, Tomas is walking where you need him to be. Where's Tomas going to end up?
So the strange thing about my lair is that it's it's like the mirror realm.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So I need him to like Alice through the looking glass thing, you know?
If you were going to take every bit of essence from him, here's what I'm thinking. I'm just riffing. If you were going to take every essence from him, you would need him to go someplace that's a room with a mirror that can be controlled.
Yes.
So because you have everywhere. I mean, everywhere's a mirror. So where would you like that to be? Do you see where I'm riffing on that?
Yeah,
idea?
I am. The first thought in my head was the fitting room at the Gap.
Do it.
Okay, there was no Gap in 74, but there was Miller's Outpost in 74.
Is that like a Western store or something? What is that?
No, just a pre-Coles situation.
A pre-Coles.
You can go JCPenney.
Everything's
Montgomery
on
Ward's.
and
Montgomery Ward's,
nothing's on
JCPenney.
Sears?
Yeah. Sears. Yeah, just the nearest sort of place where it's a high traffic sort of place where if someone goes into a fitting room for a very long time, no one would really notice. That's the intent. Someplace that he can go and be one-on-one with a mirror and no one ask any questions. And because I'm going to totally absorb him. That's my ability. So there's going to be nothing left. That's a 10 anyway. We'll see what happens.
Go ahead and drain some essence for me. That's just you. This person's under your control. You have them in the fitting room, sitting across from a mirror. They're just sitting as you go to drain their essence.
I rolled a 4.
That's great. Tell me ethereally, or I'm going to say matter ethereally ways, how you pulled that essence.
So I think when he sort of steps into this room,
and it better be good because I just rolled really high.
When he steps in, at first it's nothing. It's just like there's nothing in there. He's literally going, what am I here for? And then slowly, as the sort of overhead, I imagine the fitting room is like one of those like false walls, and above it is really the only light is coming from these sort of buzzing, oddly greenish tinged bulbs up above the sort of, what are they called? The fluorescence. Mm-hmm. Very mind-numbingly green and gross, and there's that buzz sort of.
They make that noise. Oh my God, we are on the same page. They make that noise.
Yeah. And so at first it's nothing, and he's just sitting there looking at his sallow sort of face. This is before the time of like when they specifically did fitting rooms to make you look your best, and the mirror is not a funny room mirror yet, like at a Target. Not calling out Target. I love Target, but you really do that. And so he's just standing there sort of looking at himself before suddenly behind him, sort of this figure sort of slides out from behind him, and you sort of see these hands sort of slide around him in this sort of embrace as he sort of feels this sort of almost begins to be a warmth at first, but then it becomes sort of burning hot as this sort of essence pulls out of him.
He's died. You have sucked every bit of essence out of Tomas. He feeds you all 6 essence points that he had within his soul. Every bit of him was looking for this home. It was looking for the area of comfort and warmth and commitment. And it was looking for the place that it could live for, or that he could live forever in harmony and happy. So as that warmth embraced him, the essence just started to pull into your hands. And you found yourself with 6 essence points and is slumped over Tomas. Is there anything you would like to do with the slumped over Tomas before we end your turn?
I'm going to totally and completely consume this man.
Oh.
And so what goes from being the sort of warm embrace from behind of like almost a lover as she slid her head over his shoulder and showed her, otherwise normally beautiful face. And as he sort of dies and she lets him have that moment of embrace from a woman one last time.
Wow.
Before he takes it. Her arms wrench around him. Her jaw unhinges, not unlike a snake. And she slowly and completely opens and consumes his head first and slides the rest down her gullet into her stomach and lets out a soft sigh as he settles heavily in her gut.
let's see if your total absorption truly takes care of the entire corporal form. If you could, you may choose. Give me a TN8 mind or physical, which you need to be above.
Okay.
Or give me a TN4 matter or ethereal, which you need to be under.
I think this is physical. This is truly physical. Like, this is a moment where she's consuming an actual fucking corpse.
You got a manipulation, so you can add it in there if you would like. I'm throwing you another one.
So it needs to be above the 8?
8.
Okay, come on, D12. You've been good to me all night. Let's
if not,
continue
that stress level is going to go off the fucking charts for this community.
Oh my God, a 12. Literally. Oh my fucking God.
I was like, she's not making this. She's not making this roll.
If my bud Phil is watching this, these are the dice you left at my house 5 fucking years ago, my guy, and I kept them. So if you're watching this right now, Phil, this D12 you gave me inadvertently, and I just kept actually, so I just kind of absconded with this die is amazing, and I will keep it forever, and I will not be giving it back. Sir.
It has been doing a great job tonight. Okay, I think we are at a great spot. We've ended everybody's encounters. So we're going to go into community and we're going to start the next turn. But before we go to community and start the next turn, I think it's time for a break. Is everybody okay with a quick break?
That's a great spot to take a break.
Yeah. And by the way, everybody coming back, we'll have one more complete round. And I think we'll be where we need to be to understand a little bit more about this game and see if we wanted to try it another time. But I think we're in a great spot for a break. Anything else from the crew before David clicks us off to be right back screen?
Y'all hang out. We still got more to do. We still got more people to kill.
And I'm fucking scared. I don't know. David, can everybody hear you, or are you just talking to me? You're just talking to me? You're just talking to me? No one else can hear you talking to me right now. Okay. David said it's been a really good time. He can't wait to watch this end. So let's go to break and see everybody in 10 minutes, 5 minutes, 8 minutes, somewhere in there. 10 and under. Okay. So we ended rounds, but we've just ended our round 2. You can see how this game takes more than just one night of hanging out. We're now at the community stage. And really what's happened is I've got a bunch of numbers here. And these are numbers that you created. You guys have created these numbers. They're stress. Tomas walking off. Gunther and Carl, his kids, he watched Tomas leave. So Gunther and Carl are like, where's Dad going? And they got distracted and Dad disappeared. Well, that's stress. You try and scare a bunch of Karens and Carls in the water and you fail, but it's still some stress, maybe even more stress than if you succeeded. And, maybe we have some other things that didn't happen right, or we had some things that did happen right. All those add to the stress level. So at this point, I get to go to the hysteria chart, and I get to scroll up here, and I get to take my little numbers that happen within stress, and I look at each of you individually. So I have one of you at like a 12, which means I have to get a 5 or below. Oh yeah, that's a 4. So that means we've bumped up the stress, the hysteria. We've bumped the hysteria up 10. So the stress goes back to 0, and hysteria is now at 10. Oh, it goes up 10. It's now at 15. Oh, shit.
Oh, it goes up 10? Oh, shit.
Yeah. So hysteria increases 10, and it was already at 5 because we had a successful roll the first time on community. So the next person's an 8, which means I have to get a 4 or below. I don't. I roll a 10. So the next one just goes away. Boop, 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 boop. The third one I have as a 13. So somebody was really stressing some people to F out. At a 13, I have to get a 5 or below. I missed it. That's a 7. So the next one just goes away. But we're at a stress now of 15. I'm not too sure how to say this. I need to watch Alexi play this game so I can kind of pick up on some. Oh shit! Fire! Shit! Fire! Told you this is mature. This is a mature stream. Hold on, I have to zip this down. I have to go into provider role, right? I'm not too sure how through the ether of your presence, but you feel that there's now a group of concerned citizens. They've started up watches within their neighborhoods. They've started posting people in certain places looking for what's happening. They've joined ranks with the local church, and they have those that understand the outside world now part of the community, and they're actively wondering what's happening. Why are these things going on? Where's Tomas? Why can no one find Tomas? He went for a pack of cigarettes and never came back. Where's Tomas at? So those questions are abounding, and that environment is currently happening. As we enter into another round, I think I could call it a round. Would you all like to spend any essence? Currently, the doom clock is at 1. If you were to kick in another 10 essence, it could move to 2. And you may choose another spot on the attribute wheel. Or you can choose not to use any of your essence for anything. It's up to you as a crew of fear eaters.
I would love to contribute, and if you need 1 or 2 points, I can. But I'm running a little low, so I don't know if I could be super helpful.
Yeah, same.
You would need 10, so that's a 3, 3, and a 4. That's a 5, a 2, and a 3. I mean, there's a couple ways to work that number out. Thank you, Amundal. We have no idea what we're doing. We're totally just winging it, but he likes what we're winging.
So
or she likes. I don't know. I don't know who they like. They like. I don't know.
So since I successfully absorbed Tomas, I think I remember you saying I had 6 from the like essence absorption, and then an additional 3 for actually absorbing him.
Yeah.
So I've got 9 plus 9, so I brought back an extra 1, but I spent 1. So
I love games we have to do math in.
So I had 20. I had 19 because I'd given 2, so I had 19, and then I took 8 with me. So then I did. So I took it in an extra from what I took out. I'm an internal auditor. Hey, I have a degree in accounting. Hey, hi. I brought back an additional 7. So.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
that's pretty.
I'm counting it.
Are you over 20?
Yeah, I started out with.
I think you are over 20.
Yeah, definitely.
So as we close out this discussion, are you dropping some essence into the doom clock, and is anybody joining you?
How much are you willing to drop in, and then we can maybe help from there.
Yeah. What's the exchange rate?
You need 10. You need 10 essence to move up 1.
Let's go ahead and do it. Why not? Why not? So if my count is right, I took 8 when I went. I spent. So then it's okay. So 10 plus an additional 3. So I brought back 13 plus 3. Plus, so that's 11. It's 11. Hold on. I'm counting.
Algebraic.
I'm a bottle of wine basically in, so I'm making some 4. So 24 is what I've got.
Oh my god.
Look at you.
Wow. Okay.
That's what happens when you have 2 successful runs. Look at that. And you start chaining some stuff together that works. That's really good.
Okay, Marlo, how much are you willing to give up?
Yeah.
I could give up 6.
Okay.
So 2 and 2, 3 and 1, 1
Gavin,
and 3.
what are you at?
I'm at 10.
Okay, I'm at 13. So
wait, let me give more than that then. Let me do 8. Can you each do 1?
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. I can absolutely do 1.
Sure.
Wait, hold on. Let me make sure I'm at 10 to see if I'm being real. I'm at 12. Okay, I'm at 12. So I can definitely give one. Easy peasy.
I'll give
no
one
joke.
as well.
Doom Clock has moved to 2. At this point, everybody may choose one spot on the attribute wheel. You may choose to move one spot on the attribute wheel.
But no ability this time, right?
Yeah,
No ability.
Okay.
No ability. Another 10 would move you to Doom Clock 3, which
that gives us a new ability. Okay.
Yeah, all the odd numbers seem to give you an ability. All the even numbers just let you move around if you would like.
Okay.
And you may choose not to, but you can. All right, so we've wrapped up our community. We know that we have a group of Carls and Karens out looking for you. And they know something's wrong, but they don't really know what it is. But they're on the lookout, and they have quite a overreaching group of adults that they can work through. As we talk about our fear eaters themselves, our lingering scholar, about Steve and his acid situation. About Gunter and Carl, the 2 young boys, middle school, high school, kind of that age. Sludge, about Fido and Tom. And you've also learned about Daphne in this process. Hates vampires. She's scared of vampires. She lives with vampire gear in her purse. Wraith, about Craig over at the bar. Oh, the high school jock. Mr. Oh, throw it 20 deep. All about Craig. And you've killed Tomas and hidden his body within the Sears dressing room. So, you've kind of pulled that essence all out of him. Let's roll for initiative. Let's do a D12, everybody.
Okay, I got a 6.
Oh, thank you for the Zilla.
I got a 5.
Or the follow, I guess. Gavin, Blair.
7.
Oh, Marlo's first. The person on this stream that I have the most fear of what's going on in their brain is Marlo. And she's first because the things she says scare me.
I told you there's a reason. I love
you a lot.
I love horror. I love it. My brain lives in it. I listen to a lot of creepypasta. I watch a lot of horror movies, listen to a lot of metal. So everything comes together, right? Cool.
All right, so we're back. We kind of broke this into 2-3 phases. Phase 1, everybody gets to walk through where they want to go, how they want to kind of maybe set up their scenario. Those further down in the order can either choose to join them or they can go someplace different. We've kind of touched on the people and the things that you're learning about this community. Wraith, what would you like to do now?
So let me look at the
Take your time.
Let me kind of strategize here.
Yeah.
I'm going to take a quick peek at the map to see if there's anything interesting I'd like to specifically visit.
For those watching, I took my childhood life of Galion, Ohio, which I was born in the 70s. And we're using that as our placeholder so they could look at some ideas. I know the game's made to be like an open community idea, but this allows everyone to kind of challenge their mind about, the funeral home or South Park or the water park. It's definitely jumped into some ideas. So I've rambled enough. Marlo, what are you thinking?
So I'm thinking there's a hospital. I think that's always a great place for any kind of horror, right? So I think I'm going to kind of set my sights on that hospital and send out this message. I want to let them know. First of all,
so you're going to commune?
I'm going to commune. Let me look at the actions and kind of determine. Of course, there's a big scary face. Hold on.
I know that is the best part of this manual.
I know.
Alexi's gone, but I love the graphic layout that as you're going through this game system, it's like Dude,
some of them are so cool. They're
But
The
so
one right
cool.
above the actions list is like legit got that like facial like horror
Yeah.
thing happening. It's a lot. And every time I scroll up, I accidentally scroll up too far. I'm like, no, don't let me see that face again. No, it's good. So I'm gonna take with me. I think I'm gonna take. I'm gonna take
You
10
got
essence.
all. Well, I was going
I
to
got
say
a
you have
10.
all the essence, but you actually blew a bunch on the doom clock helping out the team.
I did actually. I blew like 8. So let me backtrack. Let me say I'm gonna take 6 essence with me. I'm gonna take 6 essence, and of that 6 essence, I'm gonna commune with them before I even leave, and I'm gonna say, the hospital's a great place to catch those sort of people who are already on their way out. We would cause a lot less stress, a lot less horror if we went there first. Just my thinking.
You're not supposed to play the game. Because now you're playing the game. You're taking away my stress, girl.
Monsters can play the game too.
Yeah, they are. Yeah, don't hate the hater. That was a good choice.
And then I'm going to sort of start to that area. I'm gonna like be watching from mirrors in the bathrooms of office of specific hospital rooms. I'm gonna be watching from the reflective surfaces of hospital trays and scalpels.
Oh, yeah.
And
you have more reflective surfaces than you can shake a stick at. Every single room in the hospital has a bathroom, and every bathroom has a mirror. Not only does every bathroom have a mirror, everybody has a television, whether it's turned on or turned off, it's a reflective surface. You've got within your ability this entire place. So I imagine you're roaming is what you're doing. You're exiting your lair, and you're going to roam the hospital to see what kind of situation can arise. Does that sound right?
Yeah.
Okay. Roaming, of course, causes stress. So I need to write that down because that's my job to collect stress. Yours is to take care of your essence. Mine's to take care of your stress. Okay. So if I'm not mistaken, the next person down our initiative tree, is that Gavin or was it Blair? Gavin.
Yeah, it was me.
Sludge.
It was me.
You have felt the commune of the other Fear Eater. You know, earlier you put out, I'm going to Splash Spark Mountain, and I am going to cause some havoc. If you would like to join me, you may. And they did. In this case, you're getting somewhat of the same signal back from the Wraith. And the Wraith is saying, Sludge, I'm in the hospital. Might be a lot of people close to death there. I don't know. Maybe we should find out.
Yeah. Now, I don't know if this is knowledge I would know beforehand. Karen doesn't work at the hospital? Not Karen. Daphne doesn't work at the hospital by chance, does she?
Did you do a detect fear on Daphne?
I did do a detect fear,
and you won the detect fear.
Yeah, and I think I got a specific one too.
Okay. Oh, you did, didn't you? You got.
Like from your context, you didn't say so, but from your context, it seems like I got a lot of good info.
I did a good job then because I was trying to relate in my context. You got the core one that you definitely got on that. So I don't know where Daphne works, but I have a dice, and we're going odd even.
Okay.
Yeah, you found out that Daphne's a candy striper at the hospital. So as people are there, Daphne wheels around a nice little cart with some flowers, maybe a little bear, with some candies. And she talks to the kids and she talks to the old people and she brings them something to bring a spark of life in their day, to give them some hope. Daphne truly is a hope provider. A great person in this life.
Oh, wonderful. That's so good to know because I'll gargle back in my telepathy mode saying, I'll be there. And I will stalk to the hospital.
You're going where you know they live.
And hold on, let me just make sure I'm reading this right. Stalk. Okay. Yep.
Yeah. You previously, for everybody at home, stalk is the fear eaters travels to a previously encountered prey location. So, well, we know Sludge encountered Daphne. One, the defeat fear or detect fear. So knows about what's going on with Daphne and has also shown up at the hospital. At this point, we kind of look at our scholar and we say, Scholar, what are you thinking?
Yeah, Scholar's gonna jump on that train too and just like say back like this. Sounds good. And we'll just head over to leave the lair and head over to the hospital.
I'm going to challenge you. At a hospital, there's many locations. There's places of abundance, right? From cafeterias to not hotel rooms, to hospital rooms, to many environments. Where within this hospital will the scholar find themselves?
I think. Oh, I'm gonna take. Also, I guess I should say how many I'm gonna take. I'm gonna take 7.
Okay,
essence again.
That's a very good point of declaring it, but of course, just yes, it's honesty system here. Take what you want to take, and we know you're taking it.
Can I do an action to figure out where I go?
What action would you like to do?
I was gonna hunt.
Oh.
And see if I could discover a protector or chosen's location within the hospital.
Let's do that. Let's do that.
So
I don't like this idea because I already have my ideas of these civilian guard, right? These civilians that are hunting for you. And what makes up these people that you're looking for? Give me a roll. Are you what area, mind or physical, or matter and ethereal, and how are you kind of saying you want to find them? What's kind of the genre of, or do you know? Do you have an idea of how you want to find them based upon one of those items? Are you going to roll over with mind or physical, or are you going to roll under with matter and ethereal?
I think I'm going to go with mind because I just put another point into that. I think
all the minds within the hospital are available to you. In what form or fashion would you want to find someone that's part of a squad that wants to get you?
I think, okay. Mind, I think, let me see if I can word this correctly. So I picture if there's like a squad that's like together and they're trying to, like fight this, these entities, whatever they think it is. I'm guessing that they have like walkie-talkies between them. And I think I'm going to want to kind of like I said before, she moves in kind of like an airy, kind of like wind kind of way. I think she's going to try and like really just kind of like tap into like the I don't know if it sounds right. Tap into like the someone communicating with someone. Like can she tap into like brains? Like
you do whatever you want. That's the great thing about this game. You just tell me how it works.
So she'll tap into like heads, and if there's anybody like communicating via like a walkie-talkie.
So I just have this beautiful image of your character. We've already or your fear eater. We've already kind of developed the idea that you often find yourselves like a drone sitting above the books, sitting above the environment, kind of looking at what's happening. In this case, you're sitting above looking for those wavelengths. You're looking for signals.
Yeah.
You're looking at the idea of who's communicating to who and how do I find them? That's going to be an over number. It's not going to be a super easy one, though.
Okay.
So let's go with an over TN8.
Okay. And I have +2 for mind.
Okay, there we go.
So Oh, it was an 8 on the die. So
there we go. That's a 10. You find as you're floating around, you don't float. As you drive, as you move, as you explore the environment, you feel all of a sudden this electromagnetic interference coming from one area. Not only do you feel a essence that is based upon, these walkie-talkies. What do these people have? I don't know what these things are, but you feel those bursts of energy. You also feel a psychic energy. And you find yourself going towards the chaplain's rectory. So at the hospital, there's always a place where you can go pray, ask for forgiveness, look for a healing, look for blessing. And you find yourself outside those doors. And you know immediately inside that there is the entity that's part of this group that's trying to hunt you down. All right, so we've got to that point. Now we're kind of back to Marlo.
Can I do a commune really fast?
Yes, you can do a commune really fast.
Okay. I was just gonna send out, since everybody's kind of like coming to the hospital and stuff like that, should probably just send out something like, there's maybe a problem that we want to deal with here, and kind of like give the location and stuff like that, and see if maybe anybody helps out.
Oh yeah, we're gonna deal with the problem.
Let's go. That's it.
All right, so you've communed. We're back to the top of the initiative order, kind of in our phase 2 moment. We may have a phase 3, but phase 2 moment, Marlo. You have lots of windows. You have lots of mirrors. You have lots of places to play off of. You've gotten this initial commune that you were coming here. You felt the other fear eaters join you on this progression. You've actually got a little bit of a ping. You see a heat map. And over on another part of the hospital, you see there's a priest that obviously is at a higher psychic energy level than the other people within this facility. But being a good fear eater doesn't necessarily mean you go to the hardest challenge available. What would you like to do? Your roam is up. What are you trying to bring together from your roam? And I'll feed you.
I'm roaming, trying basically to find someone. My initial intent before receiving the commune from Blair was basically like trying to understand, like, what is there someone here who's on the verge anyway of passing, someone that I could take that no one would care about, right? Or if they did care, they wouldn't see it was weird. But upon receiving that, I think she's kind of the mind of, let's be assistants, let's be helpful. So the information gotten of like, okay, so this person's maybe on their deathbed, this person's maybe already on their way out. But then also like, okay, I need to kind of assist here, because if there's something that could kind of derail us in what we're doing, I need to take care of that situation.
Yeah. At which point you've been cycling. If I was to think about the way sometimes your world looks, I don't know if you've ever seen the Viewmaster that's sitting on Gunter's coffee table, but he just clicks and he moves between scenes. He can see where he's at. He can see where the next scene is. He can see, and he can travel the world via his Viewmaster. As you're clicking through, you see, Mary Jane Tibet. Mary Jane Tibet is on her deathbed. And you can see that she's pulling her last breaths, that she herself has lived a beautiful life, many children, I'm sure, many great relationships. As you flip to the next scene, that commune comes together, and you actually see the room itself where it happened, and you see the priest, and you see the idea of the form that's outside the room. So it's up to you to choose. Is Mary Jane Tibet, or are you running down to the church?
I think it's a hard choice. I think you see if you're looking at it from like the sort of viewfinder, the sort of like clicking back and forth, you see her kind of flip between the two for a second,
like a good eye exam.
Yes, like she's flicking back and forth, and she's like, "I better help." And you see as she sort of slides into this chapel. I'm imagining this sort of like strange stained glass of, I don't know, maybe the Virgin Mary. In each individual section of this stained glass, you see her reflected in the bottom left-hand corner, watching, waiting to assist wherever she can.
Okay. You've found yourself into the church. You've found yourself into the stained glass environment. As we talk about, Father Simon. He is obviously a man of very spiritual depth. And, you say maybe he catches you out of the corner of the eye. Maybe he doesn't. But anyways, you find yourself in the room observing Father Simon praying and, providing, I'm going to say the idea of prayers for those within the community, those within the church, though those that are not within the church that just need help, like Mary Jane Tibet. He's providing prayers and condolences and looking to his spiritual advisor in that sense. Gavin, I know you're hiding there in the dark. Yeah. What's going on in your world?
So this is just a quick question for like the world and the mechanics. How like mystical can we get when abducting? Like, do they have to physically travel to a location or?
Oh, I think they have to physically move. Okay. Do you know, I could look at the idea that if you somehow abducted the idea of Father Simon here, you could get them to move, and then we may have to re-roll it. Let's get really horrific. Let's get really ugly. That you wanted Father Simon to go to a bridge that was a train trolley bridge that was 300 feet above the gorge below it. Mm-hmm. And you wanted him to take a nosedive. Mm-hmm. That would be part of that abduction, but it's all him physically moving. And it's completely terrible and ugly. But just like bringing Tomas to the room, then the dressing room, where then the mirror could relate with that. And I have no idea.
Okay.
Oh, I like this. It falls to the provider. But these guys are also like Lovecraftian horrors, and a man could just fall through a crash in the floor if the provider allows it. Yes. Whatever you can come up with that sounds freaking good, I'm on board.
All right. I'll pitch the idea to you. We'll play through it, and if it doesn't work, we can figure something else.
God, I love your light just kind of coming on and off. Freaks me out, bro.
There's so many tabs that I'm switching through. Okay. All right. So I am 100% focused on Daphne. Daphne is my
candy striper.
Yep. So I am going to try to lure kind of similar maybe to the book or the pamphlet at the water park. I'm going to try to lure Daphne into a room with a comatose patient.
Okay.
And I am kind of going to do that by maybe tainting that IV drip of that comatose. So maybe a spike, just maybe weird spike in the monitors kind of send off an alarm. So maybe a candy striper can come.
So the idea that there is a little bit of a physical real world environment going on here, that you are interrupting that system, whether it's by manipulating the chemical compound or by manipulating the equipment itself. You want an alarm to go off that Daphne hears and comes into the room.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Let me get a TN score, physical, above 7.
Above 7. Okay. So I have a +2 physical.
I should have raised it.
I have a +2 physical. But you also know my luck with the rolls tonight, so who knows?
Yes.
You didn't have to worry about raising it because I rolled a 1.
Oh, okay. So that is a critical failure. Well, hold on. What were you rolling against?
Physical.
Yeah, that's a critical failure. Sorry, man.
Yep.
There's just no way to sugarcoat that. You know what? You're a monster. You should be able to handle some bad news. And the bad news is that was a bad fail. So I'm going to move that up. Boop, 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 boop. At which point you go to manipulate the equipment. And you actually just turn it completely off. At which point the beep, the information that's being fed back is completely negated through the system. The nurses at the main hospital desk all start to freak out. And everyone starts talking about room 42 and what's going on in room 42, what's happening there. Daphne's outside room 42. She comes in with another head nurse into the room itself to find the patient in regular condition. Nothing seems to be wrong except the equipment's off. Is there anything else you would like to do?
Just for also bookkeeping, how much essence did that cost? Because I know it wasn't quite a normal ability.
Oh, I like the idea that Blair, did we do 2 points or 3 points? No. On the lure, we did 4 points, didn't we?
We did.
Okay, 4 points.
4? Okay.
Yep. We followed that program that was kind of above this, but below that. But it's still a lot of work. But unbelievably, you have both the people. You have 2 people in that room with them. One of them is Daphne, and you have an extra manipulation.
Oh, I do have it. I got a manipulation.
Yeah, I gave you a manipulation.
Okay. Okay. Sorry.
Is there anything you would like to do with those 2?
I can't find anything right now. Okay, -4.
Should we move on and come back to your story?
You know what? Yeah, let's move on.
Yeah, we'll move on.
Thank you.
Part 2 is over. We're going to part 2 for Marlo. Do you remember where you were, Marlo? That's the other part of this. As we move around these little stories, you're in the chaplain's area. You're in the church. Oh, is it Blair's turn?
I was the last one.
I'm sorry. Blair, you're up next. I'm sorry about that, my scholar. You're outside the door. You have felt the charge energy of the Father. You now know from communing that that's Father Simon that's on the other side of the doors. What would you like to do?
I think I want to, let me double check the actions list. Yeah, I'm going to detect fear.
Okay.
So spend the essence.
My name is Simon. What type of fear how would you like to detect fear? What version of physical matter? I mean, this is a priest. You know that they're spiritual, that they have many things, involved in this world and the other worlds. They maybe can have a foot in both if they're that skilled. How would you like to detect fear? Physical, ethereal, matter?
What did we say?
Falling down on him is pretty scary.
It's true. What did we say like a whisper was? If I wanted to whisper something?
Ethereal type of idea. You want to get in his ear.
Okay. I think in just like a really creepy, her whispery voice, just kind of really close. And if he were to turn around, he wouldn't see anything, but just kind of start a slow whisper of the Lord's Prayer.
Okay, I told Marlo on break, I'm never being in a hotel room with her. I'm never being in a hotel with him. That's some scary stuff. You're going to whisper the Lord's Prayer inside Father's Simon's ear.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Give me a roll, and you want to be under 6.
Okay. And this is ethereal, right? Or ethereal?
Yeah.
Okay, so I got a
I don't
negative
know how
1.
to say it. I mess it up every time.
I got a 4 and a negative 1. It's a 3.
Okay. You find out. You find out as you're our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom's come. At this point, Father Simon starts to reflect on the words that is this the Lord talking to me? Am I what's happening at this moment? And his biggest fear isn't that of his faith. His biggest fear isn't that of betraying his faith. Will he socially be rejected by people because God's talking to him? He's more worried about the world than he is being outside the world at this point. You see this juxtaposition of social rejection that seems to be in his head, that he's more worried about what Karen and Carl thinks than maybe what the Lord Jesus Christ wants for him. Anything else?
Yeah, I think after getting that, hold on, I'm trying to remember all the words. 1 second.
Take your time.
Hold on, let me look it up. Let me Google it real fast.
Oh, I think we were just rated.
Oh,
thank you, Lost
Caravan.
Oh, look at that. Lost Caravan. We are playing They Feed on Fear, a system by Alexi. And, I'm going to have to go to the top and take a look at that. As you put your words together, Blair, we were in a perfect spot for me to say hi and say, Alexi Vila. It's kind of They Feed on Fear. Imagine everybody's death note, or everyone is that big creepy creature that what was the one we talked about, Marlo, in session 0 with the long arm? Slender Man. Yeah. Imagine everybody's Slender Man, and we're over there harvesting fear out of the community. So it has very mature concepts. We may see some things that could be a little triggery. We've already had a moment where a father left his children and walked off. So emperor mature. That might be what I say. So if you want to hang out and have a good time, enjoy. But this could also hit on something that could be not something you want to hear about. Just FYI. It's horror-based. Blair, have you had time to put your ideas together about the priest that you now know is more worried about his social interactions with Karen and Carl than he is with the approval of Jesus Christ, the Lord Almighty?
I think is there a television in this room?
If you want there to be a TV, there's a TV. Because this is the beautiful part of this. Over in the corner of the room, they have a VHS and television on an AV stand. And it's where he plays his tapes related to abstinence, related to, life within the church. All of his propaganda tapes are over there. So, yeah, there's definitely a television with VCR.
Okay, so I think I'm gonna try to where did the list go? I want to get some essence from this guy.
It's fear, so you're gonna go in for drain essence.
Drain essence, yes. And actually, wait. Hold on. I need to be better strategic at this. I think actually, instead, I'm going to influence. I'm going to try to influence again.
Okay. Back to influence.
And I think the TV, she's going to she's gonna use the TV, but more wants to use what's like being said through the TV.
Okay.
So if it's like different videos of like sermons and stuff like that, she kind of wants to manipulate like the sermon that's being given. So maybe it's something like, the guy is saying like, oh, you go out and you commit all this sin, and where is usually in like the sermon, it would be something about like, how would God feel about this? But it changes into like, what would your friends think? What would your neighbors think? What would the people around you, like really pulling on, like, not about God, but more about like the people. And to make
sorry.
I was going to say, just like to make it a little bit more like jarring, it's going to kind of like YouTube jump cut. So kind of like it's a like giving the sermon being like, what would your friends think? What would your community think? And like kind of getting that TV static kind of like thing. So really kind of putting emphasis on those words. It's like, is this something you really want to do? Do you really want to put yourself out there like this? And yeah.
Are you trying to erode his faith?
Yeah, I think I want to try to like, I want to try to influence him to like stop doing this whole like crusade of taking down these like evils in the city and stuff like that.
Okay. Give me a TN9 on mind.
I have
TN9 against mind.
I have +2. Why? This all I have. That's only a 7. So that is a 5 pops up.
TV pops up. All of a sudden, you are able to influence the situation enough that Ted Haggard, kind of a mega guy back in the 70s, right? He's kind of our Joel Osteen. Our Houston friends may know Joel Osteen. Doesn't matter if there's water in his cup. You can't come in his house if there's water on the ground. So that mega Ted Haggard shows up, and it's on the screen. And Ted is kind of max headrooming a little bit because you're trying to control the message coming from Ted. So it's, hey, as we look to the future, we know the people judge you, Simon, and you're getting some of these points across, but not enough to go over the skepticalness. He's too skeptical, and he knows the devil is playing with him at this time, and he's reached deep internally and found some faith and been able to push out this idea that you came across with having Ted Haggard really damage the structure of his soul. So he's passed from this, but he knows now. He's on guard. His stress level's gone up. He knows. You maybe even hear him say, Jesus, protect me against this devil. Jesus, I know you're here. I need your name. I need your name. And he's kind of talking out loud to the group. But, Marlo, or I should say Wraith, what's going on your roll?
I think once he starts to speak out, like she's seeing what her comrade is doing, sort of seeing the scholar sort of try to manipulate the situation. So she looks up, and then he says, Jesus. What sort of idolatry is there in this room? Is there like a statue, or is there like a crucifix?
Oh, it's so Catholic. It's so Catholic it hurts. There's an area over there with all the little lights, the tea lights that are inside the red shells that you kind of light up. There is the Madonna. There's the child baby Jesus. Since we're getting close to Christmas, there's the baby Jesus in the manger waiting to be put up on baby Jesus in the chair as he becomes king over the course of Christmas. You got everything in here. It is Catholic 110%.
I think what I'm going to try to do is play on the Catholic guilt here and use the imagery of the Madonna and the baby Jesus to sweet baby Jesus to kind of play on this sort of situation, because his focus is on the community and what the community thinks about him, but to play on that Catholic guilt there, to say, so what I'm going to try to do is manipulate the situation. I'm not sure exactly what kind of move this is going to be, so bear with me, but to kind of say, like, what about me?
Father? Are you using an ability, or are you going to go to an action, and do you want to create your own action?
So, let me look at these actions right quick to see what.
Yeah, just take a peek. Kind of look through there.
I'm thinking basically what I want to try to do is, I don't think I necessarily want to defeat. I'm trying to like backhand the ball back over to the scholar to kind of like say, you know, like, oh, is your focus in the right spot? Are you thinking about the right things? Like, are you giving me the glory there, Father? Or are you handing it off to your community? Are you really truly being who you're supposed to be, Father? Is your focus in the right spot? So trying to play back on that guilt and kind of knock it back.
I'm totally going off script. I'm just thinking of myself as the person that provides a story here, the provider. By chance, do you want to try and commune over to the scholar and ask about a fear? Because it feels like you're wanting to play on that fear.
Yeah, let me start off by saying, like, what you got? What's his deal?
Oh, let's see if she remembers. If she doesn't, you don't know. Oh, Blair.
Right now.
Oh, yeah. What's the fear of Simon?
Simon is worried about social rejection.
Oh, my God.
I take notes.
Yes. +1 manipulation to you.
Woohoo!
You get a +1 because you took notes. Because it's really easy to wait for me to recap everything every round about what we've talked about. But she asked Marlo, or I should say, the Wraith asked the scholar directly, what are we doing fear-wise here? And you immediately get the impression, the idea of a social rejection environment. So that is something you can utilize or not utilize in your next action.
Also, thank you for the other raid. Woohoo!
Oh my gosh, another raid!
Maria, thank you.
So yeah, I'm just gonna take that information then.
Okay, you've harnessed that in that, you know, Pastor Simon is truly worried about social rejection, almost to the point that he would put down his cross because of his social standing. What are you thinking?
Oh, can I still make an action after?
Oh yeah, you can keep blowing essence the entire time until you're out.
Yeah. So I'm going to I'm trying to think, because these actions don't really, like, I want to, like, it's basically like an assist. I don't really necessarily want to drain essence myself, but I want to kind of wear on him so that it makes him a little bit easier for someone else to drain essence.
Let's take a peek at what we have. Because, you know, if you were to drain essence, the next time you see him, it refills. So it's not like you really kind of lower this person in that area. I think... Let's look at hunt. No. I don't think any of those fit into that idea. So you really want to create your own action. So your action that you're wanting to create in this environment is, tell me about it.
So really what I'm kind of thinking from like a perspective of, you know, the sort of narrative, right, is like creating this sort of overwhelming, overstimulating sort of situation that is sort of playing on those, because, you know, his Catholic guilt is high. It's high. So this is a priest. This is someone who should be taking the whole community's sort of salvation in his own hands. He's like, but he's more focused on their approval than their salvation.
Right.
So given that,
Amen.
I think using this religious idolatry, like this sort of like vision of the Virgin Mary and her own child, right? Baby Jesus, who stood for his savior, stood all those sort of things. Like, these are the people, this is the very man you're supposed to be like responding to, right? This is who you're supposed to be taking forward. She wants to use these two as a sort of overstimulating factor to sort of give a buffer or a sort of buff to her compadres here, to kind of use this as to wear on him and kind of like be like, you're focused on the wrong thing.
So
make it higher impact.
I'm just going to make up some things. Let's just riff this for a minute,
Sure.
right? I'm going to go with, what if this action was called doubt? And this doubt was made to where when someone has been doubted, the next time that anybody interacts with them, that they have like a +2, -2, depending upon how they're going. What you're doing is lowering their psychic defenses,
right,
for the next person who comes up.
Right.
Now, you know about their fear, and you've played upon that in your descriptions that you've chatted about. So, are you going to want to physically manifest things? Are you going to want to matter or mind or ethereal? How do you want to affect the environment around Simon, Pastor Simon, to accomplish this doubt?
I think this is more of a mind situation. I think this is a screwing with his head, sort of speaking to and pulling him from the direction that he should be concerned about his community, because his community is being attacked, right? He really should be, right? But their approval and all of that, she wants to kind of set aside separate from that. So I think that's a sort of mental sort of situation here. Instead of playing on this sort of statues or whatever idolatry is around, to kind of start like speaking prayers, start sort of speaking of like, your salvation, son, and your, what about the people? What about what they're, are they following the rule of the law? Are they doing the things they're supposed to be doing? That's sort of like, are you really focused on the right thing? Are you really doing the work that you're supposed to be, Padre? Or are you focused on something else? It doesn't matter.
Let's roll that out. Give me a roll. You were going and you went mental, right? Or mind? I apologize. Mind. You went mind. Okay. Yeah. So you want to go over the TN that I have in my brain.
Okay. I'm not making this up.
You've been rolling hot all night.
I rolled a 12 right here.
All right. You got it. I trust you, man. There's no one needs to come on HSC to cheat on dice. Trust me.
I'm telling you, like games. Right now.
Our favorite moments are on great rolls and bad rolls. So there's no in between. It's either a great roll or a bad roll that makes things fun. So 100%, you have transformed inside the environment in front of him. The TV starts to speak again. The virgin holding the baby starts to look and talk to him. He finds himself being just pinged from every aspect within his church that's within the hospital about his inability to hold above his own ego, to allow the idea of the gospel to reach the people, at which point he is shook. I don't know a better word to use than shook, to where the next time we encounter Pastor Simon, he is no longer a chosen. He's no longer a protectant of the society. He's a civilian. He's found himself truly doubting the nature of Christ and the nature of the book itself. And you've shook him to the core. I think shook's a good word. Do you guys like that? You shook him to the core. Gavin, back over to you. Do you even remember? We've gone here, we've gone there, we've scared the shit out of people 5 times. Do you remember what you're doing?
Yeah, I do. I do 100%. But I've been on the ride this whole time. Unfortunately, though, because of my mismanagement, I think I'm just going to have to return to the lair.
Okay.
And so
Essence.
what would happen? Yep. And so what would happen is like when I manipulated that little device, Sludge kind of like does it and kind of went back into the toilet to kind of wait to pounce on the prey. But then when it just turned off and 2 people came in, realized that this is not a situation that you can deal with right now and will just return back.
At this point, Sludge finds himself pulling back into the sewer system and returning back over near South Park to be back to the lair to kind of recultivate out of his object of power, the ability to go back out in the world. So Sludge is left. As I go back over to the scholar, is there anything else you would like to do before returning to your lair? Or do you have some essence you can spend for some craziness? You're on mute.
If my mic could turn on.
There you go.
I want to, because I took...
Everybody's so ready to push. They're all... Audience, everyone's so ready to push all the time. They go out every time and they're like, maybe one more thing.
I need some more essence. I do not have a lot at all. So I think yeah, I think I'm just gonna drain essence from this guy.
The priest.
Yeah.
Who's at a -2 or a +2, depending upon how you want to roll against him.
Okay.
Pastor Simon is shook.
He's shook.
He is on his knees and he has tears coming out of his eyes. And he's crying. He has his hands clasped. He's doubting Jesus. He's doubting his life. He's doubting why he does what he does. How do you want to drain his essence?
I think she wants to still be kind of whispering in his ear, but mimic the voices of his colleagues. And just kind of like a cacophony of like his colleagues, just like a, you know nothing, you know nothing, you know nothing, you know nothing, like just kind of like getting...
him. He's thinking back about that time when he was at seminary and he talked about the love of Jesus Christ and they said, no, it's not about love. It's about these rules. And he's feeling all that, ineptitude.
Mm-hmm.
He's feeling all that, I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing.
Yeah.
All right. Give me an ethereal check on that, but we're going to say it's a 6.
Okay,
and you get -2 added to your roll. So if you roll an 8, you make it.
Oh, I do. And then I also have an ethereal -1.
Okay, then you have a -3 on this because she shook him.
Okay.
Marlo shook him.
Oh, I got a 2.
You drain. And let me tell you about draining some essence. Oh, you get 2 essence.
Yay!
You pull 2 essence out of his body. Marlo, as we're coming up to your turn, you see Pastor Simon on his knees in front of the altar. You know, he has his hands kind of on the rail and like he's taking communion. He's kind of in that spot. As you see the scholar slide in and go over his back, and you see the scholar's hands go on his shoulders and just start to whisper in his ear. You see him shudder. You see some sobbing, and his hands fall from the rail, and he's on his knees and his elbows in front of the altar. What would you like to do?
He's still alive though, right? He's
yeah.
drained at this point.
Yeah. He has some essence drained from him, but he has not died. You're sucking him dry. Don't worry. Just go for it. Just go for it.
I was gonna eat him.
Are you gonna eat them? Do it, eat them.
So, hold on. Let me pull this up right quick so I can give this as a good theatrical, like. Here we go. No, that's not right. So, you see, so this drain sort of happens, and she sort of as this sort of glop of almost shadow, viscous sort of shadow kind of falls from this idolatry that she was sort of chanting and speaking to him in so many words, trying to overstimulate him and help. As she kind of falls out of it as this sort of like oily, disgusting mess, it sort of becomes this sort of serpent-like thing as she slides across the ground, but has the face of a beautiful woman as she slides up and unhinges her jaw again. But before she does,
I think you're going to go for a drain essence, and if you complete it, total absorption. If you're drain essence, because by the way, when you guys do a drain, I roll another D12, and that tells me how much you get, to where we now know Father Simon's down. And if you finish a drain essence, he dies, and then total absorption lets you hide that body.
So that's the intent. She's trying to take the last dregs and absorb. So she says to him as she kind of starts this process, "You will surely not die. For God knows that when you eat of it, your eyes will be opened and you will be like God, knowing good and evil." As she's in this serpent form, speaking as the serpent spoke to Eve.
Oh my God!
And tries to sneak up on him. So let's see what we do as we try this. Let me find my D12. Surely.
Yeah, throw me a TN. I got a number. Let's see what you get. And I imagine this is a physical, or is it mind?
This is physical at this point. She's actually gonna consume. But I rolled a 4.
Okay. And do you have any pluses on that?
Let me look. I do not believe so.
Okay.
No.
Physicals need to be over the target number.
Yeah.
So no matter how beautiful this scenario looks, at which point Father Simon pulls together what was left, the rattling cage. It may have been the years of doing the rosary and talking about Mary. It may have been years of the Lord's Prayer. It may have been years of communion. But Simon finds inside himself the strength to tell you to be gone. And he besieges you, demon, in the name of Jesus, and sends you away in that environment. At which point, I think those encounters are wrapped up. Gavin's returned to his lair. Blair's wrapped up, as in scholar. Marlo, does the Wraith have anything else left after being rebuked?
She's rebuked for sure.
Back to your lair you go. And I think everyone needs to tell us whether they want to see another adventure of this, because we are at a great stopping point. We've done 3 rounds with 6 encounters. We have found candy stripers. We found kids. We found dads. We found priests. We've got a conspiracy of people trying to get you, and you know who one of them are at this time. But I think we're done for the night. Questions, comments, concerns from the group. And David, feel free to bring yourself online audio-wise if you have any questions or comments.
I would love to play this again if we can. Yeah, it definitely feels very open-ended. I would love to see where this would go. Yeah, we got to take out that whole group that's trying to find us.
I'm telling you, you guys have seen the same manual I saw. it generates so many ideas in your head. And as you're playing, I've generated ideas to where this game isn't like, oh, hey, we're playing D&D and we're in room 1A and now we're in room 1B. It's so crazy how we feed off each other. Bizarre.
Yeah, it was great. We had some great help in the chat. Thank you, everybody.
Yes, thank you all very much
for all the raids,
helping us, and for all the raids.
Oh my God, what's everybody doing here? Are we still above like 8 people? We are above 8 people. Look at that, David. David, we got more than 8 people watching our stream. David, write this down.
Marlo, tell us about all your stuff. You're the one that has all the stuff.
I don't have that much stuff right now.
She's slowing down for the end.
I'm slowing down because I got these exams. I'm trying to get this certification done. It's a 3-part exam, and there's a 40% pass rate on this sucker. It's driving me insane. It's not like the bar exam, not quite that hard, but it's pretty hard. Yeah. So I am. You can find me on Twitter at Marlo Bogwitch. I think I'm also on Instagram at that. I just created a new Instagram, so bear with me. I'm working on it. You can find me there as well. I think I'm on Tumblr as well. I don't know, whatever. You can find me on those locations. I love to do horror. I'm almost always ready to do horror. I'm trying to space myself and do it slowly, but come and check me out on those locations to see updates on what I'm working on, and being put in and creating weird religious
Marlo, you've officially scared me tonight.
I'm
just FYI, you're officially on my scared list. FYI.
But I am. You can find me. I'll be over here doing charity stream for Trevor Project. I don't know the exact date I'll be on, but I think I'm on the Red Markets one, so I will be excited. I'll be doing that, and you'll be able to support the Trevor Project and support High Shelf, doing great work over here. And in addition to that, I'm also, you can always find me at any time you ever want to watch it, over on Misconceptions Podcast Network. To give a full story, Misconceptions actually started out as the longest running City of Mist podcast. So check that out. They are actually featured in some of the actual Son of Oak materials there as well. So they're a really great group. Yes, I wasn't a part of that one. I came on a little bit later to start Sins of the Father to be a part of that group, and I was editor for a while. We're on a hiatus right now, but there's a good season and a half of material there that you can go and listen to and watch. It's kids looking for their missing fathers. It's crazy. It's wacky. They're getting traumatized. They're poor little babies, and they're my babies, and I'm so sad that they're getting traumatized. But it's okay. It's fun. It's all in the name of roleplay, and it's 5e, so it's a lot of good fun. In addition to that, you can find me over there also playing Tales to Inspire alternate history podcast, where the first season is set in the 1940s. I'm playing a Hollywood starlet who does telepathy and telekinesis. And we're fighting Nazis, so have fun with that. We just finished the first season not too long ago, and we've already fucked up the whole timeline of history, so that'll be great. That'll be fun. That's wonderful. I don't know what's going to come of that. In any case, it's really great. It's a lot of fun. It's running Worlds of Peril with some augments that we've made, so you can check that out. Yeah. Follow me on those socials, and you can find whatever I'm working on at that time. And if you want to cast me in your shows, I'm willing to hear it. I'm a little bit busy right now, but I will try. I love horror. It's great. It's the best.
See, Marlo, you have much more than all of us.
No, I don't think that's true.
Marlo, I think you're coming back for another They Feed on Fear.
I will be here. I will be here.
I know Gavin is like chomping at the bit to have some successful rolls. Gavin, I'm so sorry, bro. It's been a rough night on the dice.
I ate all of his success. I'm sorry.
The dice tell a story. The dice tell a story.
Yes, they do. They do.
Gavin,
all right. Me. I think are we ready to rate someone?
Just kidding. You.
Yeah, sorry, great. Blair. Did you say?
No, I was telling Gavin to talk about himself.
Oh, Gavin, tell us something.
Did you know that in the center of our galaxy, there is a supermassive black hole, billions of times denser than our regular sun?
If I were to say that I knew that,
Sagittarius A?
Well, no, I would say it has to be because I listened to the song by Muse, and that was on the Twilight soundtrack. Yeah. So that would be the only reason I know that answer.
Supermassive black hole.
Yeah, fantastic baby. Song. Get you hyped.
Team Edward.
What?
We can't be friends.
What?
I'm sorry.
Both of you. Both of you.
Are we now having an after stream of just Twilight talk?
All right, you better dump us into a raid so we can get into a Twilight talk off stream.
Come back for High Shelf Charity and go to PAX. Bye.
Are we done? Because I'm holding until
Nice.
we're done.
Nice.